What if circumstance, magnifying one of them in size and strength, took it out of its primitive world and turned it loose and out? Then expect something that's fiercer, more cruel and deadly than anything that ever walked the earth.
When the Lord speak, it's more deep. Walk in the light, let all the dogs creep. Separate the goat from all the lost sheep. He leave 99 to chase after one. It ain't many ways, baby, I pray through the sun. I ain't talking about the one in the sky, talking about the one on the right side of the Father rose when he died. For all your sins so you can have eternal life without strife. The devil trying to learn you, yeah, as if you don't know already. Spiritual warfare, when I rock, you know I'm petty. Your brains, compared to God's, is all spaghetti. My lane, against the odds, ain't all that heavy. As long as I got the blessing of the one who created me. Bill Gates' vaccination ain't never sedated me. Pick a demon to run up, I rebuke him from A to Z. Yeah, authentics, but they not. It's Mr. Will Cater and Zadok.
When it comes to that God talk, we talk that. You wanna debate to prove the word wrong, it's all cap. Or you aggressive because you type it in all caps. Come get this lesson so we can show you it's all crap. When it comes to that God talk, we talk that. You wanna debate to prove the word wrong, it's all cap. Or you aggressive because you type it in all caps. Come get this lesson so we can show you it's all crap. Everybody acting like they've been baptized by the Holy Ghost. Satan shook cause his time is short and we know he's toast. Spent eternity in the kingdom or else we know we roast. When you hear me rap about Christ, say it's always coast. Coming to your block with the rock, so you know we post. Right on the devil's playground, so we know he's close. Seeking whom he can devour, on alert, you know we woke. And my team is never caught weaponless, so just know we tote. It's hard mobbing, standing hard with the vanguard. When you see us coming, show love, don't wave a fan card. It is only by the grace of God that a man's called. Some things that come with this little fame is still so damn odd. Contend with the words of the wicked, it's a standoff. Run through offensive lines like H-backs with the handoff. Try to touch my brother in front of me, now your hands off. If you wanna keep the other one, keep your hands off. When it comes to that God talk, we talk that. You wanna debate to prove the word wrong, it's all cap. Or you aggressive because you type it in all caps. Come get this lesson so we can show you it's all crap. When it comes to that God talk, we talk that. You wanna debate to prove the word wrong, it's all cap. Or you aggressive because you type it in all caps. Come get this lesson so we can show you it's all crap. Yeah, hard mobbing, H-O-G-M-O-B, Will Cater, Zadok the God Hop MC. And everything we just said, we mean that, man. And don't get it twisted, man. You want to talk about God's word? Bring your comedics. Bring whoever you want to bring, your 5%ers or whatever. We gonna come in love, but we coming in truth, you heard?
Yo, yo, yo. Clap it up. Yeah. Clap it up for the young Yahweh one time. Yeah. Yo, yo, yo. Salute, man. What's good with y'all? Good evening. Good Sunday evening. Hey, I appreciate those of you who gonna tap in tonight and ain't gonna try to sit up and watch the entire Sunday night football game on the kid. Put that thing on the DVR, man. Go back and watch that later on. Get your NFL Network subscription and watch that joint later on in the week or something. We got more important business tonight. What's good with y'all? I hope everyone is well. Welcome to the Bible Dojo on YouTube, Facebook, and of course now Clubhouse. We are going to be doing this nice little, God willing, this nice little series that I've sat back and thought about for a while to attack and how to attack it. And I'm hoping that for those of you who will get the chance to walk this little journey with me, that you can see another aspect of the Bible that is defensible. And in the world of academia, while you have those who use academia to defend the text, in science and archaeology and history, you have proponents within those fields who are against the scriptures. They don't believe. And because of the spiritual nature of the book, the Israelites find themselves way more than any other people group in the history of human beings to have their self-prescribed history and record of their people, and along with their oral traditions and beliefs, to be questioned like none other. And hopefully this series will help, whether you believe you're Orthodox or not. If you claim to believe in the Bible, now I'm put this out there. This series right here, if you just so-called Old Testament only and you don't rock with the New Testament, this is still for you, because you at least claim to believe that the first 39 books of the Bible are valid, even if you question what's called the New Testament writings. Hey, I'm rocking with all 66 in the Western canon. So for me, it takes on a double importance to be able to share my thoughts and some of my understanding, and of course, some of my conjectures, but also my young scholarship. So welcome to the Bible Dojo. It's your brothers at Ogben Israel, aka the God Hop MC. Hashtag just a vessel, nobody special, aka cream corn, because I'm running things. And tonight, the dojo is open. So come on in, take your shoes off, look down, check your sock game, make sure you're on point, and start your warm-up katas, because it's about to get biblical and extra biblical. And so I'm hoping that this will be edifying for you all. I got my bro with me tonight. I see he is backstage here. Brother Gary, can you hear me, sir? Brother Gary. Uh-oh.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
My internet is freezing up real bad right now. I can hear you good, but you're breaking up. You keep freezing.
Oh, wow. Really?
I tried to go out and come back in already. Yeah, I think it's my internet. So hopefully it gets better. Don't.
Are you in a?
Are you
in a particular? Are you wait? Hold on. Are you in a particular part of your house you don't usually be?
No, I'm at home. I'm in the office.
Huh?
No, I'm in the normal office right next to my modem. I said I'm right next to my modem in the office.
Oh, okay. That man said I'm right next to the modem. Dang, you said you right next to it? Like you right next to the modem, huh? Oh, man. Hey, how do I sound on my end? I see a few of you are watching, a few people saying hello. Can you all hear me well? Am I freezing? Is the picture decent? Is the audio good? Y'all give me a 1 if the audio is decent, if the audio is good. Let me know what's up. Okay, I see. Oh, okay, I see. Someone says I'm sounding
at my computer.
Huh? Oh, you said you go. Oh, dang, he just the man dipped off. Okay. So you got to be on his end then. So most high willing, he could get that right, because I definitely appreciate the assistance. You know, cats volunteering their time. But at any rate, brethren, most high bless y'all. Salute. What's good with my brother Thomas in the building? He said this song is hard. Oh, yeah. That all caps. You like that? Yeah, that's me and the homie Will Cater getting that young East Coast, talking that talk how we do on this side of the tracks from time to time. You heard? But in the name of Jesus. That's what's up. Salute, Tom. Dear mother, what's good, mom? Good evening. Matthew Shepard in the building. Salute. He said, what up, bro? What's good with you? He said, wata? We in the dojo. That's right. That's right. And so I'm hoping that we'll get a nice little audience tonight, because this is the kind of stuff, brothers and sisters, that I believe, how can I say it? Some of us come across this kind of information when we might be challenged by people on some stuff we're not familiar with, because our exploration of the text, our looking at the word of God, is because of our faith in the work of God, not necessarily because everybody trying to know the world history of every country and all the gods people served and this, that, and the third. That's just, I mean, let's just be real. Now, if you are in school for certain things, if you're a professor, if you're a student, or if you like me and you're just a more didactic kind of person. A didact is a self-taught individual. You know, like I remember a couple of homies from Texas who used to live here in my city for a while. And I remember they used to go to the university and sit in political classes. And I was like, yo, y'all not students at the school. They was like, well, yo, because that's a public school, it's not a private college, because it's a public campus, by law, you can actually come on the campus. You could go sit in the classroom. How many of you ever heard that you can take classes, meaning the student ain't you're not going to get a grade, you won't get to take tests, you're not going to get credits for it. But do you know if there's a subject you want to learn from a professor at a public university, you could, if you find out when they're teaching classes, you could go to the classes as much as you want. You could sit down when you know the books the students use, you could go buy those books. Only thing you can't do is get any college credit. You can't take tests and stuff like that. I had homies who used to go to the university and sit in political classes, and they would get the same books the students had. They didn't have financial aid or nothing, so they had to pay $200-300 for a book students using for the semester. They would use the book, get what they want out of it. If they really like it, they keep it. And if they done with it, they would take it back to the school bookstore and sell it at a discounted price back to the school. Bro, that is a didact. It's a person who does what they need to in order to research and find the information they after so that they can understand said thing that they're in. You know, any of you ever meet someone who could fix a car from the rooter to the tutor and they ain't never went to mechanic school or nothing like that? That person would be considered didactic in their ability to be able to really fix almost anything on a vehicle, because on their own, and you get help, but you're not in a formal education setting. Jesus and the apostles were called they were considered didacts. This is why when Peter and them was preaching the gospel and challenging the Pharisees in them, even Yeshua, what does the Bible say? It says, how do these men know all of this, seeing they have not learned letters? What does that mean? They weren't from the schools of the day. They were regular citizens, but they were blessed by the Holy Spirit to be able to have great understanding of the law and the prophets. And of course, the revelation of Yeshua by the Ruach actually is the icing on top of the cake, right? So this is what we're dealing with as well. Oh, my bro is back. Gary, you good, bro?
Yeah. I think my computer was updating. That's why. So I'm on my phone now.
Okay. You sound loud and crispy clear. I appreciate you, good brother. Hey, salute to Time Is At Hand. The homie Jamar, what's good with it, King? Salute to you. Jehoshaphat, King, the young Shemite in the building. What's good with you? What's good with you? Oh, I see I got one person tuning in on Clubhouse, the homie Hashem. What's good with you, bro? Salute. So you know what? We're going to go ahead and get into this. If you want to reach out to me for building purposes, my email address is yourboyzadok@gmail.com. That's YABOYZAYDOK@gmail.com. And if you want to support the ministry financially, which I always suggest you do, then those of you watching, look at the ticker on the screen. And for those listening in through Clubhouse, whether live or on a replay, you could touch my PTR and it'll take you to my bio. And the pertinent info is there. So, Gary, are you ready?
I was ready, sir.
He said, I was ready, boss. Now, this topic is the first part of a series that I've titled Archaeology and the Bible. This is part 1, and this is addressing the Queen of Heaven in Israel. I've been listening to some really intelligent people in various spaces for a while, especially over the past year or more. And there's an interesting thing in, I've run into Gnostics. You ain't gonna meet a lot of Gnostics today, but they're out there. Have spoken to some Orthodox Christians from the East, like Greek Orthodox and stuff like that. And then just people who kind of don't seem to really always have a solid belief in one thing. They read this, they read that. And a big thing that's happening right now is a lot of brethren are looking to ancient Near Eastern culture. Hello there, Reese. Shalom, shalom, Queen. A lot of people are looking at the ancient Near East. Now, not everyone is studying it, but what happens is someone will say something about the ancient Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt, stuff like that. And because, especially over the last decade, as the so-called conscious community rose, with the help of guys like Sonetter and others who are really putting out these debates between different factions of Black consciousness, there is this idea that permeates among some that the story of the scripture is, for many, nothing but a plagiarism or a copying of other religious cultists that existed before the Israelites were a nation. Now, if you think about it, on one hand, if I be honest, I can understand how some people might think that way because of the time frame that the biblical narrative is alleged to start with the children of Israel coming out of Egypt, anywhere between the roughly, I'm gonna say somewhere between the 15th, 13th century BC. You got clearly settled nations. I mean, one of them is they're coming out of Egypt. So it's clear Egypt is a well-known and established entity and power in the ancient East. Then you have Sumeria. And out of Sumeria, out of the Sumerian Mesopotamian narrative across the Tigris and Euphrates, you have the Sumerians who had different factions of themselves: the Ninevites, the Akkadians, the Elamites, the Arameans, the Amorites, and eventually the children of Ashur, who started to create their own kingdom called Assyria. And then you have eventually the Chaldeans coming along. And as you have all of that going on in between Sinai and the Euphrates, you have this today, what they call the Middle East, or some people call it the Levant historically. And there you have the Canaanite people groups. You have in the biblical narrative the Edomites, Ammonites, Moabites, Midianites, descendants of Abraham, who through time became their own tribes of people who eventually slowly grew into small nations. You have the Philistines, things like that. And because the Israelites are younger than everyone, there are things that academia is looking for in archaeology. And some things that archaeology hasn't substantiated by material culture. What is material culture? Basically, when they dig down in certain strata of the dirt, they dig 20 feet down, they dig 10 feet down, if they dig 30 feet down, and they find stuff like pottery and old buildings or temples, city gates, clothing, jewelry, art. Even sometimes, depending on how low they go, they might find human skeletal remains. Maybe they'll find animal remains and stuff like that. When they put all of this together, they try to paint a picture from absence of what things were like and who these people were. And sometimes, depending on the size of a people, they might even find records. So usually empires kept records like the ancient Sumerians, the ancient Egyptians and others, because they were empires and they had great kings and great militaries and great civilization. They wrote things down on papyri. Some wrote things down on stone and cuneiform writing and stuff. Some of them had writings and glyphs on their temples and things. Then some people had great religious texts, like you have the Enuma Elish, the Eridu Genesis. You also have a lot of various Ugaritic texts that come out of the ancient Levant, the land the children of Israel are alleged to have come into out of Egypt. They had religious systems in there already. And the Bible substantiates that. But what has happened, in my opinion, is some people see that because these societies are much older and existed already, had religious systems and laws and things of that nature, when they see things that might look similar in the Bible and in Israelite culture, they will say, well, the Israelites just seem to have taken this from that. That's an interesting thing. When you read academia, because the number one disadvantage to history in modern times is what? We weren't there. So just because you found some damn pots don't mean you can explain everything from 2, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago. The best explanations that are more concrete is when you have writings where you got, like, for some of the ancient kings, they record their great victories and building projects and their magnanimous reigns on great stones called stels. They erect a damn like a standing boulder 15, 20 feet tall, and all the great exploits of said royal family or kings in succession are written up and down and around these things. So when they find that, that's a fair thing to say, well, damn, this one right here, we ain't got to kind of figure out who this guy was and some of the stuff he did. Look, he left records. That's good. But the majority of the people groups in the ancient Near East were average, were small, more or less chieftains, fiefdoms. I'll give you an example in a modern sense. Think of like this. If you 500 years from now heard about Boko Haram or you heard about the Taliban, how much history right now do you think the Taliban has written about being the damn Taliban? It's a high probability that they have not. But they run a whole country. And the most important text to them is their copies of the Quran and the Hadiths, which are writings of their great sages that they live by. They don't necessarily generate for hundreds of years. These people won't necessarily write about themselves. They'll just carry on from generation to generation the customs given to them. While if you were doing something like trying to establish the Islamic Empire, like various caliphates like the Moors, the Ottoman empires and the Turks and stuff, well, you might find writings from them because they were empires like the Egyptians were, the ancient Assyrians were, the Romans, the Greeks, and the Persians, and all of them were. And the reason that I'm saying this is because archaeology finds some things, but then it's just a lot of stuff archaeology can't corroborate because it hasn't found. And some people take silence, unfortunately, as a proof of something not being true. And then sometimes archaeology takes material culture, and some people believe it establishes one thing, and with that same find, some people claim it establishes something else. So there's this big idea that Yahweh, the God of the Israelites, had a damn wife, a goddess. And the reason that this is believed is because of evidence that archaeology has found, to be fair. I have a lot of the information that archaeology has found. So tonight I'm going to effort to share some information with you so that you can understand the way some are looking at the archaeological evidence. Many don't understand what the damn Bible is saying. Excuse me. And I want to turn y'all on to some things so that people don't try to throw stuff in your face about the ancient Sumerians or the Canaanites. You got these people who will say, well, the Israelites just seem to be Canaanites. In a sense, you can say the Israelites were Canaanites. if you're just saying they were in Canaanite land and that they had some customs that were Canaanite customs that you would, and Canaanite doesn't point to necessarily one people group. That's another thing that many people miss. Like when archaeology says, well, the people called Israelites just seem to be an ancient Canaanite people that eventually had a brief moment where they were on top. But see, that's the thing. There are other Canaanite peoples. Y'all know what that's like saying? That's like saying the Canadians and the citizens of the United States are North Americans. And then when you are Americans, you can even say the people who live in South America are Americans. That's just South America. Us in Canada are North America. But then if you go back 1,000 years and before there was Europeans here and anything of that nature, you could still call the people who were here first Americans. And if their descendants are still with the population and power that now has control of that land, those people are used terms like indigenous or even like Native Americans. Anyone? Those words are used to say these people are Americans. They're Native Americans. But we're Americans too, but we wouldn't call ourselves Native Americans, meaning we aren't originally from this continent in the way that we would see people groups who descend from the Aztecs, the Incas, the Mayans, the ancient Cherokee nations, Onondaga, Chickasaw, Seminoles. So notice how all of that describe Americans. In that same way, you could properly call the Israelites Canaanites just in the context that they lived in Canaan. But when archaeology uses it, they usually use it to say, we're not sure of the Exodus narrative and Moses and the wars of Joshua and all of this. So, but because we do have proof that eventually there was a group here called the Israelites, when we try to figure out where they originally come from, so far our material culture evidence tells us that these people are just Canaanites, a certain group of Canaanites who eventually formed their own scenario. And the Israelites were worshipers of this God and that God, not just Yahweh. And some people, I find, try to use that as if that means the scripture somehow is faulty in claiming that Yahweh was the God of the Israelites, because material culture evidence through archaeological finds put this in our face. Man, that's 7 days, man. That's weak. That's weak. Why do you say that, Zadok? Hold on for a second. Let me plug this thing up. I say that because I'm going to show you all, I believe I can show and prove, the Bible confirms almost everything that archaeologists have found to be true. This is the thing. These people who, I believe that some of the believers in the Bible who are PhDs in the fields of archaeology and stuff like that, and they're a part of some of these digs, they find archaeology to be corroborating more and more every day the authenticity of the Bible as a historical book for the Israelite people, as much as it is a books that has polemics in it and poetry and prophecy and stuff in it, claims of supernatural things done by the deity of the Hebrew people. But as much as it is that, you have those in academia who try to somehow crap on the Bible as not telling the truth in the context of what archaeology thinks it might be proven. And it depends on who you listen to. So what I'm going to do is share information with you all tonight to see how you all might be able to digest it. Hey, salute to Jedediah in the building. Salute to Sister Shannon. Hello, hello. I see Said has joined us. We got the Bible Dojo looking real light over here on Clubhouse, but that update then did things, and the share feature is pretty trash. They haven't really, hold on, let me see. Oh, well, they got a kind of invite feature now. So I'll say for to my couple brothers listening in on Clubhouse, if y'all don't mind inviting people who might be in your friends list, that'd be helpful. Give me a second, brethren, because I'm going to invite some people as well. Just to, see if they might want to come join, if they up and listen in the show. Hold on for a second. Let me send this out because I forgot that this feature actually just was not available just a little while ago. So, yeah, I'm hoping that some people might be up and might want to come hang out for a bit. And if not, maybe they'll come support me on a replay. Just give me a sec, brethren. But I hope everybody is well. And this information that I'm about to share is some really good information. And at the end of the day, I really believe that you'll be greatly edified if you can follow along, and more than likely you will. You can. Let me see here. Boom. Okay. I ain't gonna be able to hit all of these people up. I'm just hitting. Just give me a sec, brethren. Please be patient. I'm just hitting a few folk, letting them know we out here doing the thing. Okay. Who else is that? Boom, boom, and boom, boom. And I'm going to say that's good right there. Okay. Up. Okay, cool. We'll see what happens. All right, y'all. Thanks for being patient. Okay, so now this should be good. Hey, Brother Gary, I'm going to put something up on the screen, and I want to know if you can see it. Okay. Because you said you're on your phone, right? Gary?
Oh yeah, my bad. I stepped away. What's up?
When I share my screen, are you able to see it through your phone?
Yeah. And I'm about to sign back in on the computer now. It's all updated. So it'll be a little bigger anyway.
Okay, so you're gonna go out and come back right quick. No problem. That's what's up. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen now. So when bro come back in, we'll already be ready to go here. Okay, present, share screen. All right. So I'm gonna put this up on the screen right here, and we're gonna go ahead and get into this, brethren. So I got a Astarte up here. This is I'm gonna use some real easy sources at first. The light work ones, the ones that anybody, you could just type it in on Google, and you'll get encyclopedias and stuff that'll pop up and give you definitions. So here we have a Astarte, and as we get ready to get into this is my thing. Archaeology has proven some things in the Bible to be 100% accurate. I'll give you an example. Up until, if I'm not mistaken, up until roughly around the 1890s, the early 1900s, do you know that the academic world in Europe especially, and that's honestly where a lot of the challenge to the Bible comes from. It comes from the academic world. It comes from the deist and even the atheistic world. And especially with the science revolution of the last 200 years, Darwin's theory of evolution and stuff. There's a saying in academia, and some of my bros know this from a documentary series we watched together about a year ago. My bro Hashem might remember when we were watching a debate between the scholars at Cambridge, and you had some of the believing scholars, and you had some of the atheist scholars. And the line among atheist scholars is what? That science has killed the gods of the ancient world. Y'all go find it out. Now, y'all could go argue with the academics of the world. See, this is what's funny. We'll use academic sources to prove some things that we want, and it makes sense because we're not in the field. Most of us are didacts. We are self-taught people, meaning a lot of the information we have because of our fanaticism with trying to understand historical scenarios and the ancient world and stuff. We go jumping down rabbit holes. I've been doing this since 1996, as far as believing the Bible. And roughly since around the year 2003, 2004, almost the last 20 years, I've become a fanatic of research. And for those who know my team and how we move, like for those who might know us from 15 years ago and stuff, y'all know what's up. Y'all know how we get down, and y'all know the presentations we done made, the 3 and 4 part series on history and things of that nature. Now, we use the sources in academia from the fields of textual criticism, theology, archaeology, ethnology, anthropology, and even linguistics, you know. And we use what we can. And now you even have brethren out here who are getting into the field of genetic research. Not that they're all going to school, but many of them are dedicating years to gathering all this information, reading through these papers, these peer-reviewed studies, and the latest update at some big genetic conference that happened in San Francisco, and the biggest geneticists from around the world were all there, this, that, and the third, and dudes get the abstracts, and some spend their money and invest in the PDFs and all of this stuff. Well, Zadok, one of them kind of guys. And it's a lot of people I'm meeting more and more every day. And it impresses me, and not being xenophobic or nothing, but I'm really liking and digging that Black people are into this. Like average people like me who are into this stuff. And when you meet them, they're like, man, for the last 10 years, man, I've been just dedicating myself to this and that. And I love the discipline. And we don't have to agree on everything, but I still respect the discipline of study because I believe that I'm someone who should be respected in that regard. Now, when I share the information I'm going to share tonight, 2 things that I'm efforting to do. To show you that when it comes to some of the things that are being established by material culture finds in archaeology, that the Bible already says it. This is why some of the digs in Tel Adaba, in Tel Armana, some of the digs happening in the land of Israel, and now some of the new digs that are happening in the Far East, where now the Muslim governments are allowing more universities to come into Iran and Iraq and dig up stuff. For a while, they let them do it, and then wars happen between nations, and you get a 40, 50-year window where the academics of the Western world are barred from coming into them countries and doing digs. But Israel started to allow more digs. They really only get funky if you start unearthing bodies and stuff. If you hit bodies, dig over, because of the way they deal with their religious beliefs on the sanctity of the dead and not disturbing the dead and stuff like that. But if you don't find no bodies and you just finding buildings and pottery and you going down strata, and by the time you dig, you like, yo, this strata is opening up a trove of information to us from 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago. That's permissible. But I'm going to tell you this, and I'm willing to argue with any and everybody about it, because archaeologists, if they're honest, will tell you this. Material culture finds cannot tell you everything about a people. It tells you something. So, damn it, if you walked in somebody's house, let's just say a house was left abandoned for a year and you didn't know the people, and you walked and you got into a house that was abandoned, and whoever left, they left in a hurry, and the house was just left how it was a year ago. You don't know these people. If you walk in and you look in all the rooms, look in the basement, the attic, look in the bathroom, look in the refrigerator, the cabinets, look in the closets, you could probably surmise a lot of information just from the material left behind by whoever used to live there a year ago. But you know what you couldn't really do? Unless them people left diaries and journals about themselves, you couldn't tell me a damn thing about them people. Not in any way. You can have some theories about them, and that's respectable. But unless they left that, you can't tell me nothing about the people who was there. You can't tell me how tall they were. You can't tell me their ethnicity without pictures and writings, unless they leave something behind, like some kind of religious image or some kind of shrines, or even some, you find, let's say you find a Bible in a house and it's in all Spanish. That might make you think, yo, whoever was here, these people spoke Latin. And when I say Latin today, we call it Spanish. Okay. Were they Dominicans, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans? Were they straight from Spain and Europe? You probably couldn't tell me that without any more evidence. But you could establish some things as fact. Modern history is not the be-all, end-all of any. There is no modern discipline that's the be-all, end-all of anything. The best information we have about giving you details about peoples is when you deal with the empire builders, because if they left behind papyri, temples with glyphs, if they left behind cuneiform writings, if they left behind religious texts like we talk about in the ancient Near East. In Sumeria, you had a few creation epics like the Eridu Genesis, the Enuma Elish. You have other Ugaritic texts coming out of the Levant with some of their concepts of the gods and things of that nature. When you find that stuff, that is better proof. When you find the stele of a king who erected a 20-foot high rock and told you, I did all of this and I'm great and I was that boy. That's that. When you find images of gods served, you can say, hey, whoever was here, they was worshiping this statue. And this statue, we can decipher the language. Oh, this is a statue of this deity, that deity, this deity, that deity. So when it comes to the Israelites, finding material culture that shows you that tonight, part 1 of archaeology in the Bible, we dealing with the Queen of Heaven in Israel. And God willing, in part 2, we're going to deal with something else. Hopefully, I'm going to do a 5-part series on this. And this is light work. I ain't going to share all my information because I don't believe in giving people everything that I worked hard and sat up. I'm up 2:30 in the morning, 5 years ago studying, 2 months ago studying, and all of a sudden I'm just going to come and give you everything I found. I'll share some, but I ain't giving you everything I found. Do your own damn research. What's that old commercial when they used to play solid gold hits and dude was like, hey, my brother, yo, man, let me hold that. He said, sorry, my brother, you got to get your own. Hey, you can be here at the party dancing, but you can't go home with the vinyl, my guy. So what I want to do is we're going to deal with the Queen of Heaven, because all that material culture and archaeology has established about the goddess Asherah, who also goes, we call her Astarte, Ashtaroth, because we use a mix of names, depending on if you were in Tyre, Sidon, if you were in certain parts of Mesopotamia, if you were in other parts of the Levant, the same deity who look the same, the name is a little bit different. And then a lot of times we use what the Greeks later in their tongue referred to those deities as. We use that a lot. Like most of us ain't got no problem talking about the Egyptians. We don't usually say the Cometics. Not most of us on the everyday. Who gave us that word? The Greeks. We'll say, oh, the Ethiopians. Who gave us the word Aethiop to call the children of Cush? The Greeks. So it's acceptable. Use what you want to use, but I'm telling you tonight, we're going to be talking about the same thing. Hey, salute to Del Davis joining in. Skill the Lightmare. What's good with you? Catholic Shabbat Shalom, homie. Yeah. So now let's go into this. So, Brother Gary, you are ready. You back on the computer, and you said that thing looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and make it. Huh?
Said sounding real good right now.
Yeah, yeah. So hey, you can see this. I got this
Yeah.
little article up right quick. We're gonna start in the more quicker to find resources that my son can go find. And then we're gonna go into some more scholastic sources. So let's go ahead and start here. We're gonna start here with a definition out of Britannica. And this is Astarte. Go ahead and read that. That's on the screen, brother. And you don't have to read anything in parentheses. Nothing in parentheses.
All right. Astarte, also spelled Athart or Ashtart, great goddess of the ancient Middle East and chief deity of Tyre, Sidon, and Elat, important Mediterranean seaports. Hebrew scholars now feel that the goddess Ashtaroth, mentioned so often in the Bible, is a deliberate conflation of the Greek name Astarte and the Hebrew word Boshet, shame, indicating the Hebrews' contempt for her cult. Ashtaroth, the plural form of the goddess's name in Hebrew, became a general term denoting goddesses and paganism.
Continue.
King Solomon married to foreign wives, followed Astarte, the goddess of the Sidonians. Later, the cult places to Ashtaroth were destroyed by Josiah. Astarte, Ashtaroth, is the queen of heaven, to whom the Canaanites burned offerings and poured libations.
Now, this is all facts. And what's interesting is that the Hebrews called her the lady of shame or whatever they was trying to use and throwing that Boshet with her name to get what we would say is the Ashtaroth. But you know what? They still loved her. And we're going to show you the Bible tells us. See, this is my problem with people. They act like they bringing up something the Bible ain't said. The Bible never taught the Israelites only served Yahweh. Oh, goodness. It never taught that. As a matter of fact, the Bible teaches Yahweh was jealous for centuries because the people worshiped everything else faithfully but him. He became just another one of them. But we gonna let the Bible tell you, because what's happening once again is people are acting like whatever is happening in the ancient Near East, that look, if anything in the Bible is true, then it has to line up a lot of times with everything else that's around it. Now, every people get to throw their propaganda, get to embellish their power. In ancient Egypt, you might have the kings. In ancient Sumeria, they draw themselves big as hell. They look 50 feet tall compared to the military they fighting. They done grabbed the heads of the king, huge. He got soldiers and horses under his feet, damn chariots under his feet, and then he got a whole bunch of heads in his hand held by the locks, which is the heads of generals and kings he defeated. Y'all know the damn king of Egypt wasn't that big, but the story it's telling is the polemic on the walls is giving you the indication of how he's describing his power and how he defeated great enemies and the militaries were crushed under his foot. The Bible has the same a kind of imagery, but because it don't come with pictures and temples with a whole bunch of images that the Hebrews made to Yahweh, their writings are their polemics that in just words paint the picture. Heavy poetic language. David say he was in the battlefield and he got afraid and he cried unto Yahweh, and he said, and he heard me in the heavens. And then he got pissed and fire came up in his eyes and smoke came out of his nose. And he hopped on a cherub and came down in a cloud, and the sky blackened and it thundered, and he rode to my rescue. I don't believe David seen that. But David is using that language to describe how Yahweh came to his rescue. At the end of the day, him being, Him getting a great victory when he thought he was going to lose can still be true, even if he technically didn't see a damn deity riding in the sky on the cloud. So if you have understanding, then you can understand what the scripture is for. It's no different than the polemics of the ancient of the ancient world that surrounded the Israelites. It's really not. But what I is gonna say is this: in the late 1800s, early 1900s, the world of academia were claiming that there were a lot of untruths in the Bible. Do y'all know one of the biggest untruths in the Bible that they were running around with for a while, and they were confident when they were speaking about it? They were saying there were no people called the Hittites. The Hittites didn't exist. But archaeology eventually found the ruins of the great Hatu people. Then, and as they were digging in Egypt, they found that the Egyptians called these people the Hatu. The Israelites called them the Hittite, and claimed that it was Hittites in our military and all of that. Well, in the Israelite military, all of this stuff, right? Now, what does that do when science has been running around? When history has been running around in the halls of academia, as they start to try to attack the Bible, start to say things like the Hittites were supposed to be this great people. There is no material proof of them. Not that they hadn't been looking. They're just saying it didn't exist. But then when they eventually found it, they said, well, damn, the Bible was right on that one. Do you all know that until that find, besides the Hatu being written on a stele of it, it could have been Ramesses or one of them who claimed he got a great victory against the Hatu people. And that was just a statement. The only other source on earth out of the ancient Middle East that mentioned the Hittites was the Bible. And guess what? They're finding much more. Now, just like that, until archaeologists find other things they're looking for, they have the right to cast doubt, to just at least have some skepticism. Well, we can't confirm this. We ain't found this. We've been searching. We've been looking for this. So we can't corroborate this. We can't corroborate that. Okay, cool. But you do know that because, excuse me, because we can prove that Ashtoreth or Asherah was a super big deal in the entire Middle East, and the Israelites didn't escape worshiping her. This thing about her being the consort of Yahweh is overblown. And we're going to show you tonight why it's overblown. By God's grace, of course. It's true that the Israelites worshiped Ashtoreth. How is it that in the Encyclopedia Britannica, which is one of the most accepted scholarly encyclopedias on earth, don't have no problem saying, yeah, King Solomon in the Bible married foreign wives who followed Astarte, the goddess of the Zidonians? Can we establish in history that there were a real people called the Zidonians and their chief goddess was Ashtoreth or Astarte? Yes, we can. Can we prove this claim that later the cult places that belong to this goddess were being destroyed by certain kings of Judah? Yes, we can. Oh, let's keep going. Here we go. Let's go a little bit further down. Go ahead, bro.
Astarte, goddess of war and sexual love, shared so many qualities with her sister, Anath, that they may originally have been seen as a single deity.
Oh, she got a sister, but we ain't even gonna deal with her sister. Go ahead.
It's like okay. Their names together are the basis for the Aramaic goddess Artemis,
A targetess.
a target, a targetess.
Mhm.
Astarte was worshipped in Egypt
In Egypt.
and
Ugarit. Uh-huh.
Ugarit, and among the Hittites, as well as in Canaan. Her
Akkadian.
Akkadian counterpart was Ishtar.
You know, they got the big Ishtar gate that they found in ancient Babylon. There's actually a gate standing over in Iraq today called the Ishtar gate. But continue.
Later, she became assimilated with the Egyptian deities Isis and Hathor, a goddess of the sky and of women. And in the Greco-Roman world with Aphrodite, Artemis, and Juno.
So basically, they're telling you the queen of heaven worship in the ancient world, even the ancient European world, is well known and attested to by historical writings and archaeology. And in Canaan, where the Israelites went, this woman was worshipped, but also in Egypt, where the Bible narrative claims they came from. When they came out of Egypt with Moshe, she was in Egypt as another deity, either Isis or Hathor. Now, how is it that the Israelites' whole story happens after Abraham comes out of Mesopotamia? The whole Israelite story takes place in one part of the world, besides a brief dip off with the book of Daniel and also Ezekiel coming straight out of Babylon, a crazy young Hebrew named Ezekiel. You know what I mean? So, but the entire Bible narrative basically has the meat of its existence of a claim of this odyssey coming out of Mesopotamia through Abraham, and now back and forth between the Tigris and the Nile. This back and forth journey. The whole Bible polemic takes place there. And guess who's there the whole time? Astarte, aka Ashtaroth, aka Asherah, aka Isis, aka Aphrodite, Artemis, aka Ishtar. But let's go to something else, brother. I want to bring up another young source. Let's go. I'm going to stop sharing the screen so I can bring up another source. And what we'll do is we'll go to another one that I like a lot. My homie Josh had turned me on to this source. I didn't even know this existed, and I heard him use it, and I started looking at it. I'm like, I like this one because sometimes they explain a little bit more than the other. We're gonna go to encyclopedia.com. This is a good one, and then you also got biblicalcyclopedia.com. So let me share the screen. Hey, if you're just joining, welcome to Riggs. Riggs, stop.
Hey, that's terrible.
That boy is crazy. Ashton he wouldn't be feeling you right now. Salute, Riggs, what it is. Okay, I was supposed to be sharing my screen. That caught my eye, got me off guard for a minute. Okay, so let's go here, encyclopedia.com. Can you see that, brother? Or should I make it a little bigger?
Nah, that's good.
All right, go ahead. Remember, you don't read anything in the parentheses.
Ashtoreth, Canaanite goddess, possibly the deliberate corruption of the name Start. It's meant to conform to the vocalization of the Hebrew word Boshet. Ashtoreth is the preeminent goddess in the Bible.
Hold on. Wait.
Preeminent.
That means almost anywhere you read about a goddess, it's connected to Ashtaroth, but it also became a name for almost any goddess. Any form of goddess worship in the Bible. The other peoples who were populating that land could use other terms. So what? The Bible is on point. Now, check this out. It let us know that it's the preeminent goddess in the Bible. So why is it that when archaeology establishes that the Israelites, there's proof that the Israelites worshipped this female deity, somehow that does what? When the Bible constantly talks about her. Y'all late, archaeology late. Archaeologists could have said the Israelites didn't worship some Asherah. And then when they start doing their digs and they find proof, now they act like they established something. And for those who don't read the Bible like that, the way that they use the information, I can tell when you don't study the Bible. You might study research more than you study the Bible, and that's okay. But when someone looks at your research and I couple it with the Bible, I'm able to show you some things you might be missing in context. Go ahead.
And the plural Ashtaroth is a generic term for goddesses, used together with Baal as a collective term for illicit worship. In Israel, her worship is associated with the Sidonians, but Solomon, in his later years, went after Ashtoreth, goddess of the Sidonians, and Josiah destroyed the cult places which Solomon had built on the Mount of Corruption for Ashtoreth. The abomination of the Sidonians, Ashtaroth, is known for the Ugaritic text. Oh, got it, huh? Ugaritic text, where, however, her role is overshadowed by that of her alter ego, the goddess Anath.
So even though she's in the Ugaritic text, she takes on a different role because there is a kind of a fight between another kind of herself, which is the goddess Anath. Continue.
Both Astarte and Anath are the sisters and consorts of Baal and share the dual character of goddesses of love and of war. Both are also associated with horses and the hunt. According to Ugaritic texts, Anath and Ashtoreth also share the same abode. It seems, therefore, that Anath and Ashtaroth are different aspects of the same goddess. This supposition is corroborated by the figure of the Aramaic goddess Atargaritis, I butchered that, whose name results from a conflation of the names Astarte and Anath. Astarte is a fierce warrior goddess and the goddess of sexual love and fertility. Like her Akkadian counterpart Ishtar, she is an astral deity and is associated with the evening star. The name Atart is a feminine form of the name Atar, a god known from Ugaritic and South.
Ugaritic and South
Arabian sources.
Okay, yep.
And associated with the morning star. The name is also known from the inscription of King Mesha of Moab. Where Ashtar Chemosh occurs as a variant of Chemosh, the name of the national god of Moab.
Hold on. In the inscription of King Mesha on the Moabite stele, he actually combines the male and female deities together as one, Ashtar Chemosh. Now, there's a story in the Bible that we're going to look at that happens allegedly with the prophet Elijah having young Rook with the prophets of Baal and the prophets of Asherah. And there's questions about what happened to the prophets of Asherah, as if all of a sudden when the prophet Elijah did something, somehow the prophets of Asherah escaped. They did not. And a clue is that sometimes when you destroy one, you already know you've destroyed the other because it was a destruction of the couple. Here, Ashtar Kamash is a combining of the feminine and masculine principle, because we know Chemosh is the chief deity, but his wife is connected to him. The same way that when you destroy man, you do destroy woman. It's impossible to not destroy woman if you destroy man. It's the same principle. And what I think many people are missing is that these deities are nothing but anthropomorphized expression of the human mind as they try to describe nature. And and all you can do is describe life from a male and female perspective, because that's all you know. Even when you look at the animals, damn it, they male and female. So when you express the life-giving forces of the sun and the water and the rain and the fields, and you see the stars of heaven, the morning star, the evening star, you describe them with masculine and feminine principle. Why is this elementary, my dear Watson stuff? People acting like this stuff is stumping Bible readers. It's not. This is young light. But at any rate, let's keep going, because I'm doing this not just for myself, but for those of you who may not even think of this. Go ahead, bro.
Since Ashtaroth as warrior goddess carries the full title Astarte Sem Baal.
Wait, hold on. Since Ashtoreth as warrior goddess carries the full title Astarte Sem Baal, meaning this goddess sometimes when she's leading, she's not leading in spite of the king god. So even though she goes forth as the warrior leading the nation in war, her full title is Astarte Sem Baal. Go ahead, brother.
Both in Ugarit and in the Eshmanazar inscriptions from Sidon 1,000 years later.
Zidon. Hey, bro, when you hear Zidon, who do you know who is the most famous figure in the Bible that come from Zidon?
No.
Jezebel.
Oh, wow.
The wife of Ahab. Yeah. She was a Sidonian princess. Mm-hmm. And we're going to see something. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, man, look, I'm cool with people, but I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to stop sharing the screen and everything. Let me go ahead and solo my face for a second. Whoever knows me, we can build, but understand anytime we're talking, anytime, there is never one time that even when I share my sources and I'm willing to talk with people of different faith backgrounds and narratives, some people say they may not be coming from faith, they coming from scholarship. Okay, I like scholars too. I'm always defending the Bible. My whole life is staked on the validity of the God of the Hebrews. And one more thing, Yahweh won. I don't give a damn if it's the Gnostic version of Christianity. People want to talk about the ancient Near East, and you want to talk about the ancient gods and goddesses of the cultures that existed. Yo, ain't nobody running around talking about them. The only time them Negroes are talked about is when we talk about him and bring him up. But you ain't got to bring up Yahweh for him to be talked about. The Jews of the world, the Muslims of the world who claim to serve the same God of Abraham and the Christian faith, between so-called Judaism, Islam, and Christianity alone, this one ancient deity that's supposed to be the chief deity of Abraham's tribe and the only deity of Abraham's tribe got about 2/3 of the planet claiming to worshiping right now. 2 billion Muslims, over 2 billion Christians, and however many, what is it, about 100 million Jews, 200 million Jews in the world or something? And it's supposed to be about 7 to 8 billion people on the planet, more than half the planet right now. Ain't nobody running around talking about no damn Marduk. Ain't nobody running around talking about no Diana. The closest you get is the way that Roman Catholicism has taken some of them ancient concepts and put it out here. I don't care what people doing with Santeria. I don't give a damn about what black folk was doing in West Africa. I don't give a damn what they doing in West Africa right now. What I'm telling you is that when it comes to all the deities of the ancient Near East, Yahweh won. And right now, he's the only God that modern man is trying to tear down. Because as I told you, in the academic world, at least in the Western world, the academics, especially the atheist ones, they say that science killed all the ancient gods, except Yahweh. And there's a reason for that. And by his grace, maybe at another time, I'll get deep into that, why Yahweh is the untouchable power. So now, when niggas is arguing about quantum mechanics and Big Bang theory, the theory of evolution, genetics, they not on here talking about, well, if Marduk was a just God, a loving God, then why is there suffering in the world? If Chemosh, if Molech, if Ra, Isis, Horus, Osiris, ain't nobody talking about them. They lost, they done, they history, they in museums. Yahweh is ever living right now. He like Mum Ra from the Thundercats. They're ever living, damn it. And that's my argument. They all lost. So let's not get it twisted. When I'm talking with people, you talking about deities that ain't got no damn power. And Yahweh told and said, I'm gonna be the last one standing. So far, so good. And it's very mysterious how he uses the world of men. He said, yo, my word go out my mouth and ain't gonna come back void. So I be in these rooms and these smart people be debating, these people out of the conscious community come talking, the Garfield Reeds of the world and all of that. And I like these guys, but I don't give a damn what they talking about. Everything that they claiming, they're going into history trying to prove something that was back then. And then after they prove that, they arguing about the damn Yahweh who is now, who was then, who is now. And Yahweh so off the chain, guess what he called himself? He said, I was, I am, and I always will be. That's the ultra bar. So the only way you hear Negroes talking about these ancient deities even having any kind of existence right now is when people try to point out maybe some of the customs that they think might have been adopted into some versions of like Christianity and stuff like that. Like when people point to Roman Catholicism and you see the big grand outfit of the Pope during the huge mass of the year, and he got the fish hat, and they'll point to the ancient Philistine deity Dagon, and how the ancient priests of Dagon wore the fish, they wore them hats that from the side looked like an open fish mouth, and they would have the eyes on the side and would have on the long robes, and the tail would be like the back of a fish's tail, the fish fin. And so when they look at the way the Pope is regaled and they look at them hats and stuff, they like, yo, we see the such and such. No, that's what's up. That's cool. But I'm telling you, Yahweh won. And Jesus, the Son of God, won. That man said, my name will be exalted above every name on the planet. Zeitgeist didn't do it. That came and went. Now you got other smart people today. Y'all could go listen to Bart Ehrman and whoever the hell you want to. Jesus said, my name will be exalted above all names. And I'm telling you right now, even though Islam claims to be an Abrahamic faith, what does Islam spend its time doing? Yo, we just be like, yeah, the Bible ain't talking about no damn Muhammad. They gotta run up the hill, down the hill, climb back up the hill, jump off a mountain, parachute out of an airplane just to try to prove to you that Jesus was a prophet. They can't deny his existence, but they said, well, he was no son of God. When they go to talk about his death, they say he had a doppelganger on the cross. That wasn't really him. That was somebody who was made to look like him so he can escape. Everybody talking about Jesus because that name is the name exalted. Buddha name, the billion people over in India who probably a good 300 million of them still worship the ancient gods of the Indian people with the Hindu culture. Then you got those who are Buddhists, but then you got hundreds of a few 100 million Indians who are actually Muslim and Christian. Yo, they lost. That's all I'm just telling y'all. The ancient gods lost to Yahweh. Any of the indigenous people anywhere on the planet still trying to hold on to something. You know, every year they had a little, you know what I'm saying? They had a little parades and stuff trying to hold on to the ancient ways. And I can respect that. I ain't trying to diss people, but Yahweh won. And I argue with anybody about it. Go ahead. And as soon as we start talking about ancient God, I'll let you talk. And I'm going to ask you where that deity now, where is that deity's cult? Who's worshiping that deity? Show me your family members that worship the deity. And you're not going to be able to show it. You just going to tell me what some people was doing 3,700, 4,000 years ago. And I got the same information. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying after all of that, who won? Yahweh? Okay, Yahweh won. I had to say that. So now that I could get off that horse, boss. All right. Hey, Gary, you ready, bro? We're going to continue. All right. So now what I want to do is this. I want to go into the Bible now. Let's finally get into the word of God. Hey, and welcome to the Bible Dojo. It's your brothers at Akban Israel, aka the God Hop MC, Young Cream Corn, because I'm running things. Tonight, me and my brother Gary, we doing the thing here in the Bible Dojo. The doors are open. Come on in. Take your shoes off. Look down. Check your sock game. Make sure you're on point and just join in with the other students who are already practicing their katas, because it's definitely biblical and extra biblical. Hey, if you want to reach out to me, hit me up on my email at yourboyzadok@gmail.com. And I encourage and adjure you, consider supporting my ministry financially. And if you decide to do so, the ticker on the screen lets you know how to do. All the clubhouse homies and homettes, just touch the PTR. My bio give you the pertinent info. Now, brother, let's go ahead and start this off in young Exodus. Let's start in the beginning of introducing deity concepts into the text, because Genesis doesn't really do it. It's really when you get into Exodus that this thing starts, because now Yahweh is claiming, okay, I'm about to start to get my glory by using the children of Israel. Okay. So let's start in the words of the great prophet Bob Marley, Exodus, movement of Jah people. So, hey, Exodus chapter 32. That's where we're going to go. Be sure to screen. And Gary, when we're there, you can start reading that verse 1, bro. You got it? You got it up, or you waiting for me to share the screen?
No, I got it.
Okay, go ahead. You got it.
Exodus 32, verse 1. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, Up, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him. And Aaron said unto them, Break off the golden earrings, which are in the ears of your wives and your sons and your daughters, and bring them unto me. And all the people brake off the golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron. And he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool. After he had after he made it a molten calf, and they said, "These be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt." And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it, and Aaron made proclamation and said, "Tomorrow is a feast to the Lord." And they rose up early on the morrow and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings, and the people sat down to eat and to drink and rose up to play. And the Lord said unto Moses, "Go, get thee down, for thy people, which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten calf and have worshipped it, and have sacrificed thereunto, and said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which have brought thee up out of the land of Egypt." And
Hold
the
on.
Lord,
Nope, that's good. Now, the reason I went here is because when the people got shook because they didn't see young Momo in almost 2 months, month and a half, they're like, yo, we don't know what done happened to him. He done probably went up there and dropped dead somewhere. So make us gods which shall go before us. Now, this makes sense to me because the people worshipped gods in Egypt. Now, brother, when you read in Britannica, it literally claimed that that this goddess was worshipped in Canaan, where the Israelites are on their way to. But it also said that she was worshipped in Egypt, where they came from, didn't it?
yes, it did.
Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 20. I want to show y'all something because this isn't stated in Exodus. Yahweh don't even reveal this until the Babylonian captivity about something that happened in Egypt that the book of Exodus doesn't mention, because Yahweh is very progressive in the way he do things. So, hey, good brother, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 20. And I want to go here right quick, and then we're going to go back to Exodus. So in Ezekiel chapter 20, we're going to start reading at verse 1.
And it came to pass in the 7th year, in the 5th month, and the 10th day of the month, that certain of the elders of Israel came to inquire of the Lord, and sat before me. Then came the word of the Lord unto me, saying, Son of man, speak unto the elders of Israel, and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, Are ye come to inquire of me? As I live, saith the Lord God, I will not be inquired of by you. Will thou judge them, son of man? Will thou judge them? Cause them to know the abominations of their fathers, and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, in the day when I chose Israel, and lifted up my hand unto the seed of the house of Jacob, and made myself known unto them in the land of Egypt, when I lifted up mine hand unto them, saying, I am the Lord your God, in the day that I lifted up mine hand unto them, to bring them forth from the land of Egypt into the land that I had espied for them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands. Then said I unto them, Cast ye away every man the abominations of his eyes, and defile not yourselves with the idols of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. But they rebelled against me, and would not hearken unto me. They did not every man cast away their abominations of their eyes, neither did they forsake the idols of Egypt. Then I said, I will pour out my fury upon them, to accomplish my anger against them in the midst of the land of Egypt. But I wrought for my name's sake, that it should not be polluted before the heathen among whom they were, in whose sight I made myself known unto them, in bringing them forth out of the land of Egypt. Wherefore I caused them to go forth out of the land of Egypt, and brought them into the wilderness. And I gave them my statutes, and showed them my judgments, which if a man do, he shall even live in them.
Thank you. Do y'all know basically what that just told us? Yahweh revealed something. Okay, this is part of the curse that's happening to the Israelites in the time of Ezekiel. Ezekiel and them are a part of the Israelites who were first taken to Babylon as prisoners at least a decade before Jerusalem was totally destroyed by the Babylonians as far as the house of God and broke down the defense of the city and all of that. So this is in the 7th year. Y'all, this is the 7th year of the captivity. The 5th month and the 10th day of the month. And so some of the elders come to Ezekiel because he's a recognized prophet among them in Babylon, and they want him to go to Yahweh on their behalf. And Yahweh said, yo, did they come to you they want a word from me? He said, as I live, saith Yahweh Elohim, I will not be inquired by you. He like, yo, I don't ask me no damn questions. Don't ask no questions. Son of man, judge them. Cause them to know the abominations of their fathers. The Most High saying, I'm so pissed. Now to us, because we not Yahweh, this can go over our head. But the more and more we read his word and we stay in meditation and prayer and building with brethren, some things can start to become clearer to us. And what's becoming clear to me is that Yahweh been upset ever since he brought these people out of Egypt. He killed the whole first generation except Joshua and Caleb that he brought out of Egypt. Y'all don't get that? That's not a sign of him being pleased. So don't think because Joshua and them took the next generation in, that somehow that means Yahweh was happy with the people. Yahweh is going to keep his promise, which is why the only people that really please him are those who keep their promise like him. He make an oath and he swear he gonna keep it, even when sometimes he might just want to stop it because y'all not keeping y'all part of the bargain. Look at this. He said, let them understand basically how long I've been putting up with y'all. In the day that I chose Israel and lifted my hand to the house of the seed of Jacob and made myself known to them in the land of Egypt, saying, I am the Lord your God. Y'all, this happened with Moses. The people didn't know his name. That's why Moses said, well, when the people ask me, what's the name of this God who said he's going to save us? Tell them this my name. I'm the God of their father, Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. The Lord said something. He said, when I did that, when I introduced myself to them, I told them when they were in Egypt to leave the idols of Egypt alone while they were still there. Leave them things alone. I'm here. I'm about to take you up out. Y'all, they didn't. He said, but they rebelled and they didn't listen. And every man did not cast away the abominations and the idols of Egypt. And then I said, I'm going to pour my fury out on them and I will crush them in the midst of the land of Egypt while they were in Egypt. Did y'all know that? Of course we didn't. Yahweh never said this through the mouth of any of the prophets. Moses said, you've been hard-headed. Y'all, when Moses told the people, you've been rebellious and stiff-necked since I've known you, Moses didn't. The day he walked them into the wilderness is not when he first met them. Understand, y'all, what's happening here. He said, but you know what? I still went through with my promise for my name's sake so that it wouldn't be polluted in front of the heathen where they were, in whose sight I made myself known to them in bringing them out of Egypt. So I brought them out and brought them into the wilderness. And that's where I gave them my statutes and my judgments. Yahweh is establishing he been pissed with Israel and they was idolatrous when he came to save them. They were worshiping all the idols of Egypt. And you want to know who they definitely had, who they couldn't escape worshiping? The goddess, along with any of the powerful male deities. Isis, the consort of Set, who later became Horus. Or you could say she was the right at times when Ra became the chief deity. Whoever was the chief male deity, the same goddess was the wife of that male god. The Israelites worshipped her before. And I'm going to argue, hey, Gary, let's go back to Exodus, bro. In Exodus 32, notice what the people said: make us gods to go before us. Not just one deity, but make us gods. So when the golden calf was made, I'm arguing that even though it was one image made, what they understood that to represent was the gods. That image didn't just represent one chief deity, it represented more than that. And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it. Hey, read verse 5, bro. And what did Aaron say? Exodus 32 and 5.
Said, and when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it, and Aaron made proclamation and said, tomorrow is a feast to the Lord.
Hold on. Y'all see, you see that cap, all caps, Lord, good brother?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, for those who know how to study, you know that that's implying that that's the tetragrammaton. So if you go into the Hebrew text, that's Yahweh. Tomorrow is a feast to Yahweh. Gary, I'm going to ask you something. How in the hell was this going to be a feast to Yahweh?
That's what I want to know.
And while they do this, and the next day they get up and have this big festival to Yahweh, the real Yahweh is up in the damn mountain with Moses. He was like, oh, Moses, no, hey, Moses, no, you got to get down there. You got to get down there. Them people you done brought out here to me, they trying
to say that's me.
He ain't even say my people. He got so hot, he said the people you brought out.
Yeah.
So how is Yahweh in the mountain with Moses pissed that this is happening, but the people are down there and what they're doing is having a feast to Yahweh? That's because the name Yahweh was nothing but the name of a chief deity to them. And now that they're claiming to follow Yahweh, they decided to make an image that they were familiar with that represent other powerful deities. And now to them, this is Yahweh. They never seen Yahweh. Moses supposed to went and talked to Yahweh for us. He done died. So Moses, hey, Aaron, make us gods, man, to lead us. So who was the God that brought them out of Egypt? Yahweh, right?
Yeah.
So Aaron committed apostasy and made an image and called it Yahweh. That's it. But I'm telling you, the image was not Yahweh. Yahweh is a real power and was up in the mountain giving Moses the words.
Amen.
Tomorrow is a feast of Yahweh. This is the beginning of the corruption of Yahweh. And at times it gets out of hand. And then eventually some individuals come along in certain generations who like, hold on, this ain't supposed to be like this. And they'll start wilding and killing everything and crushing and tearing everything down to put the true Yahweh worship back in the forefront. This was a constant back and forth in the Bible. Yeah. Archaeology, all it's doing is proving this. Bro, it's telling you that the people ain't even in Canaan yet. They in between Egypt and Canaan. And they already are wilding and have already created a concept of Yahweh that they gave an image to. And Yahweh said, But let's move on. Let's go over to chapter 34. Chapter 34. And when we get there, let's look at verse 10.
And he said, behold, I make a covenant before all thy people. I will do marvels, such as have not been done in all the earth, nor in any nation. And all the people among which thou art shall see the work of the Lord, of Yahweh. For it is a terrible thing that For it is a terrible thing that I will do with thee. Observe thou that which I command thee this day. Behold, I drive out before thee the Amorite and the Canaanite and the Hittite and the Perizzite and the Hivite and the Jebusite.
Now, let me ask you, hold on. It said the Hittite and the Canaanite. In that article we read from Britannica, it said the Hittites, the Canaanites, and the Egyptians all worshipped the Queen Mother of Heaven.
Yeah.
Is that not what it told us?
Yeah.
Okay, I just don't let that go. Now, that's not all they worship, but tonight the topic is her, because we're going to bring some light to this idea of Asherah, the consort of Yahweh. Go ahead, continue.
Observe thou that which I command thee this day. Behold, I drive out before thee. Oh, yeah, I read all that. Take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of thee. That ye shall destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their groves. For thou shalt worship no other God. For the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods. And one call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice. And thou take of their daughters unto thy sons, and their daughters go a whoring after their gods, and make thy sons go a whoring after their gods. Thou shalt make thee no molten gods.
Hold on. So Yahweh has said something here. And if you don't speak Hebrew or read it all the time, something can be missed over us, good brother. Now, here, he says, look, I'm telling you today, I'm going to start to give you victory over the Amorite, the Canaanite, the Hittite, the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite. Be very careful, and don't you fall into agreement with the people in this land, because they will be a snare to you. You will destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their groves. I'm going to bring up the tools here. We got the Masoretic text up here at the top. We in the interlinear. You shall destroy their images, Maseba, or Masheba. Yes, Maseba. There's no sheen there. And cut down their, what's that word right there, brother?
Asherah.
Oh, hold on. What the hell you mean cut down their Asherah?
Ooh.
Outline of biblical usage, strong definitions. It means happy. Asherah or Astarte, a Phoenician goddess.
Awesome.
Also an image of the same. Hold on. That could go right over many people's heads, that the Most High was saying, you shall destroy their images and Asherah. So, how the hell somebody gonna tell you the Yahweh that called Moses and the Israelites, the Yahweh who called Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to himself, had some damn queen mother goddess next to him who was his wife? No, he didn't. The people created her to be his wife because in Egypt, the chief deity had a wife who was his equal in power. And the Canaanites did the same thing. And the true Yahweh is saying, hey, do not come in a covenant with these people, because I'm telling you, they're going to be a snare to you. And you will be snared by their gods. Don't you make no images, and don't you worship any other gods besides me. But this is the thing. The people are going to break it. And what I'm going to show you all is that when the people break this, they give Yahweh an image and they adopt the queen mother of the land as his wife. So when modern archaeology starts to dig and they find some things that start to show that there was heavy goddess worship in Canaan, and that the Israelites themselves took a part of it, to the point the Israelites let you know they did. That somehow the Bible is hiding something? No, it's not. Hey, bro, look at this. Once again, Asherah, Astarte, a Phoenician goddess, right?
Yep.
Why does it say also an image of the same? I thought that the image was the goddess. No, the image can be one way the goddess is represented. You know another way the goddess is represented, brother?
Wow.
By the statue of the chief masculine deity of the people having an altar set up next to him, and they build a grove of trees around it. And the grove itself is the Asherah. So sometimes the goddess is always there. And what some people may not realize is the way that the Israelites expressed it, and even some of the other peoples, there is no culture that seems to not believe that the female comes from the male. When we was just building the other night, we were making a point about how the female was, in a sense, always there. So when Adam was walking around that whole time alone, what did the Most High do to him, bro, to give him a partner? What did he do?
Put him to sleep.
Put him to sleep and did what?
Took out a rib.
And took a rib from him.
Yep.
So that means technically she was always there.
Yeah.
She just wasn't manifested yet. It's the same way sometimes when they express the deity. His consort is always there, even if she isn't expressed all the time as an image next to him. This is light work, my nigga. But some people don't know it. See here, it says sacred trees or poles set up near an altar. Yeah. Sometimes the altar represents the male deity, and the sacred poles represent the feminine deity with the male deity. This is why Yahweh said, I always wonder why the hell they had to cut the trees down. The trees aren't images. Yahweh wanted to get rid of what I'm talking about, the true Yahweh, my bad. Wanted to get rid of what they represented for those people. And this is why he told the Israelites, don't you have it in your head one day and say, I'm going to find out how these people served their gods so that we can serve Yahweh the same way. Gary, he told them don't do that, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
So if the claim is that the true Yahweh said, ain't none of that got nothing to do with me. I ain't got no damn wife. You know who his wife was? To him, the people. That's who he made his covenant with. This thing, don't worship me like that. Don't try to name me the deity, make something that look like one of these things and say it's me. Now you got me a damn wife with me and the goddess on her throne. Nah. That goes over a lot of people's head, brother. A lot of people's heads. Now, let's look at this. Let's go to Deuteronomy 12. Go to Deuteronomy 12. So it's going to get a little bit more extravagant. Deuteronomy 12. Now, the next generation, that first generation in Exodus got killed off. Now, in the last month of the 40th year, as they of the 39th year, bro, as they're getting ready to go into Canaan, all of these ones who are going to go in with Joshua and Caleb, Moses is retelling them everything that he told their fathers who died in the wilderness. Chapter 12, verse 1. We going, if you, hey, if anybody don't like what I'm saying, then you just don't like what I'm saying. Go ahead.
These are the statutes and judgments which ye shall observe to do in the land, which the Lord God of thy fathers giveth thee to possess it, all the days that ye live upon the earth. Ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which ye shall possess serve their gods, upon the high mountains and upon the hills and under every green tree. And ye shall overthrow their altars and break their pillars and burn their groves with fire. And ye shall hew down the graven images of their gods and destroy the names of them out of that place. Ye shall not do so. Ye shall not do so until the Lord your God.
So you shall not serve Yahweh your Elohim the way these people serve their Elohim. And notice this. He had them, you can't destroy the mountains and the hills. So why did you destroy the trees and burn their Asherahs? Because the feminine spirit is what these trees represent. And most of the time they were fir and pine trees because they represent unending life, which is the sign of fertility goddess worship. They always, most of the time, represent the goddess. So when you set up the altar to the masculine power, you have the feminine power. Because the balance in their mind was the feminine and masculine principle together at all times.
Wow.
Let's go look at something. Let's go look at something. Let me stop sharing and share again. I know y'all liking this. Y'all ain't gonna go too many places and they're dealing Bible believers, Israelite or Christian, or if you like me, I'm a Christian Israelite. You ain't gonna find too many people. Most of y'all ain't going to no Sunday church, and y'all pastor for the next month gonna do a damn series on the ancient gods and this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 so that you can tear down these false narratives of the Yahweh of the Israelites having a wife besides Israel itself, or Jesus being some plagiarism of Krishna or Mithra and all the other clown stuff that they claim. I'm here for all that smoke, but tonight it's Asherah smoke. Hey, Gary, I'm going to ask you. Now, Gary, you've been hanging around me for a couple years now, good brother.
Yep.
Are you familiar with this information?
A little bit. I was, yeah, a little bit of it, but no, you pushed this to a whole nother level on me. Like with the Ashtaroth and the female thing. Yeah, I didn't know that. I know about the altar, but the male deity and with the female, yeah, you put me up on something new.
That's what's up. But see, now, brother, we build all the time, don't we?
Yeah.
By God's grace. We build weekly outside of the internet, like offline. It's a lot for us to learn as believers. And this is some of the stuff. Now, everybody ain't got to know this, but because of the circles I run in, they need to know, well, myself and the team I run with and the kind of pedigree we cut from, we them kind of Bible believers that we on this. Salute to the divine prospects of the world and some of the other homies who I really got love for, who study the world around the scriptural narrative in order to understand the people more. Y'all, you got to understand, just because Yahweh is their God and said, hey, be for only me, he told you, we got married, and in the vows, she was like, yo, I'm yours. I'm yours. And then Yahweh was sounding like, what's my man name? Oh man, I forget my man name. I forget his name. He passed some years ago, unfortunately. I think his name was like Jesse Hamilton or something. He had that song, and baby, it's you, the way you walk, the way you talk. Yo, son was, I just wanna be yours from this day forward. Yo, he was singing that joint. He was killing that record. That's how Yahweh was sounding to Israel. He was hitting all the notes, and Israel was swooned and was like, I'm yours, Yahweh. And then guess what he revealed? I couldn't even say it. I'll say it like this. Man, this woman a hoe. I married this girl. I'm tired of her. She cheating on me. It's over. I'm done with her. She's out of here. Give her her walking paper. She is not my wife. And it was over. And she was out there. And then for some reason, he started missing that chick. And then he said, baby, come back.
I promised your fathers.
That man was so in love with his people that he said in Jeremiah 3, he said, hey Israel, is it not written in your law that if a man put away his wife and she go and be with another man and he take that woman back, that's trash? He shouldn't do that because that woman defiled. The whole land to be messed up. Ain't that what y'all say? But I say, come back to me, oh mama. Damn. Even had Hosea the prophet do things as a similitude and a sign to let you know, I'm gonna divorce you, and you a hoe. I'm divorcing you because you a hoe. But I love you, and I'm gonna wind up marrying you again, and I'm gonna make a covenant with you and say, this time be for me and don't be with no other man. Do you know that's what the whole situation with Hosea taking a woman of whoredoms and having children with her was about? It was a sign of the divorce and the regard. I'm going to bring this whorish woman to me and make her my wife. But she was his wife at first. Why he put her away? She was cheating on him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was she cheating with? She was cheating with other gods, right?
Yep.
Y'all know who one of them other gods was? The Queen of Heaven. She was getting her lesbian on, bro. Israel was bisexual with the gods, male deities, female deities, all that. And Yahweh like, yo, we not swingers. And gave her chance after chance after chance after chance until he got fed up, bro. And now this whole thing, part of the whole thing about the whole Jesus story is to redeem that people, to get them set, to bring them back to himself. And with that, we've already established while he's doing that. Guess who else is caught up in this same kind of evil, but they not his wife? He's not in covenant. The rest of the damn nations of the planet.
Yeah.
And Paul says in Acts 17, God at one time winked at the ignorance of humanity. But now with the revelation of Jesus Christ, he commands all men everywhere to repent and get away from that worshiping of idols. Y'all, this is the whole message of the Bible. And so what may not be understood by some is the pivotal part that Jesus plays. You can't forget the Old Testament and everything that's happening because of Byzantine church interpretation. They'll make you they're not wrong about everything, but it's so much that they don't even deal with that. This stuff be foreign to people. It's like you hearing a new thing. And I'm like, you ain't never read this stuff in the Bible? But you know what? Let's step up the sources a little bit. Let me do a little shout. Let me share the screen. Gary, I want you to read something. And this is just part one. Share the screen. So, can you see that right there, brother? This is out of the American Journal of Philology. This is volume 5. This is a whole write-up from 1884. And of course, I'm subscribed to JSTOR and a few other collegiate joints like this. You see here where it got open access, download and all that. Yeah, some of these PDFs I'll pay for. Sometimes the abstract give me what I want. And if not, then I'll just go and get the whole PDF. Sometimes I do that, folks. For those who know,
what's the name of this site?
Oh, this is JSTOR, homie. You see that right there? JSTOR.org. JSTOR.org. You could go sign up, create you an account as an individual, and get your young research on, homie. Oh, bro, this is yo, bro. This has been a great source to me for the last probably about 12 years. But at any rate, what's the name of this? What's the name of this particular article?
The meaning of Balaam and Ashtaroth in the Old Testament.
Okay, here we go. Let's just look at this one. We're not going to even hold on. Let me make the entire page large. I don't want to do that to you. I want the people at home to see this on the screen. Okay, you can see that, good brother.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
The various phases. So the meaning of Balaam and Ashtaroth in the Old Testament. The various phases of the worship of Baal and Ashtaroth among the Israelites, and the relations of this worship to that of
That's Yahweh. He just wrote it as Javeh.
Javeh.
Yep.
Okay. Of Yahweh lie outside the limits of this article. Its object is to inquire into the meaning of the frequent use in the books of the Old Testament of the plural forms of these two divinities, Balaam and Ashtaroth. What this may be has been questioned by innumerable writers. The prevailing opinion is that these plural forms do not signify the divinities themselves, but only their representations or images. The principal advocate of this view is Genesis, and after him has been generally adopted by critics. Even Scrouter, in his, I can't read that PDF thing is over the words.
Oh, my bad. Hold on, let me move it up then.
Yeah, of his, I don't know what that word is.
In his Kylan Scrifton, Udes Ate Testament. So you could just keep reading. You ain't got it. I said it for you.
Notwithstanding the example of the Assyrian plural Ishtarti, goddesses holds to the same opinion. Some writers suggest the alternative also of holding Balaam to mean the different ways in which Baal was worshipped in various cities, but most agree in considering Ashtaroth to merely representations. Perhaps a close examination of a number of passages in the Old Testament itself may settle one side of the question at least, and prove that Genesis image theory is untenable.
Untenable. Go ahead.
Recent studies have shown that the worship of the Syro-Phoenician peoples was originally a worship of the active and passive forces of nature.
That would be negative and positive, or feminine and masculine. That's all active and passive are. It's the X and the line. You know how you'll have the circle or the cross, or they'll have what we'll consider a cross sign, like a plus, and then a minus. That's active and passive.
Right.
On some of your devices, you might see a button that's a circle, and then another button that's a line. One is on, one is off. Go ahead.
Active and passive forces of nature, and that these forces were personified in Baal and Astarte.
That's it. We ain't got to read no more. These are the active and passive forces of nature that the Syro-Phoenicians, where Jezebel comes from, in our Bibles with young King Ahab, and what the Egyptians did, what other Canaanites did, the Hittites and others. This is the feminine and masculine principles of nature personified in this male and female deity. So guess what? They're one. So when you whoop one, you've whooped the other, people. That's just facts machine. Now, go ahead. Go ahead. You know what? And finish reading that little bit down to Venus.
This is not the place to discuss the various periods into which writers like Moeller have divided the Baal worship, nor to conjecture when the astrological element was introduced, which identified Baal with the sun and Ashtaroth with the moon and the planet Venus,
which is the evening star. So what I'm saying here is in giving you all, pardon me, in giving you all this little bit, it's letting you know that these are personified forces of nature. The negative and the positive that we say is feminine and masculine. Yahweh Elohim of the Israelites never taught the Israelites to worship him by those principles, but they did, and they made idols of him. Bro, didn't we just read that while Yahweh Elohim is in the mountain talking to young Momo, the people is at the bottom of the mountain and they about to have a damn party, and they done made a golden calf, and called, and Aaron said, "This is Yahweh." While Yahweh is in the mountain, Aaron done made an image of Yahweh at the bottom. And this is indicative of what the Israelites were doing. While the Canaanites, or the Perizzites, the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, even the Philistines, while they already were doing that, the Israelites did it on their own, because what did they have in their mind? Egypt. As soon as they got scared and didn't know what was going on with this Yahweh, they made something and said, okay, now we can see Yahweh. There we go. You like that source, don't you? You like that. You like, I could tell, Gary. You like, hey, what side is that, damn it? How about I give you another one then, since you like that site? Let's go right back there. I'm going to share the screen again. This is fun. Here we go. This is the same site, good brother. What is this? What is this one by William G? Now, the last one we read was a write-up from 1884. Now we're gonna go 100 years later, as they got more information and new evidence. So I'm gonna take you from the start of scholastic review of early archaeology and stuff they were learning 1884. Now I'm gonna take you 100 years later. And this one is by William G. Deaver, Bulletin of the American Schools of Oriental Research, published by the University of Chicago Press. This is from 1984. Okay. And what does that say, good brother?
It says Asherah, consort of Yahweh.
Question mark too, right?
From Kuntilet
Adrud. This is, and all that is a particular place where they've done an archaeological dig and have found this. So I'm not going to log into my library, because this little page is enough for you all to just say, So Asherah, consort of Yahweh, new evidence from Kuntilit Adrud, William G. Deaver, University of Arizona, Tucson. Y'all, this is a professor writing up on this stuff, and this is 100 years after the article we just read. See, when people talk about source up, light work. Stop acting like that word means something like, oh, you on something? Okay, you might be on something, but you say that as if like that ain't the order of the day. Some people just heard that in the last couple years from other people. Now they throwing it in everybody's face. Well, you could go and find teachers from Zadok on the internet back when I was chubby and had dreadlocks down to my waist. Go back to 2011 and see us sourcing up. This is old. This is how I thought we thought everybody did it like this. Go ahead, brother. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna make that a little larger so you can actually so we can actually read that. Hold on, let me make it larger. Hold on, why y'all didn't let me? Okay, that's about as big as I'm gonna get it because it's not. I don't have the actual PDF downloaded. Can you see that decently?
Yeah,
or
no, I
no?
can see it good. I got a full screen.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, go ahead, good brother.
It is well known that the Hebrew Bible contains some 40 veiled references to the cult of the old Canaanite fertility deity Asherah, consort of El at
Ugarit.
Ugarit.
Remember, it said that she had two personalities, her, and then there was another side of her called Anath.
Anath, yeah.
Now, we know that the Canaanites had a fertility goddess named Asherah, who was the wife of their chief deity El. Other Canaanite peoples worshipped her, and her husband's name was Baal. Well, go ahead and continue.
But her appearance was always constituted something of a problem. This is witnessed by one, the confusion already in the
That's the Masoretic text. That's what MT is.
Masoretic text among Asherah, Asherim, Asheroth, and the bastardized form Ashereth, Asheroth, and two, the ambiguity in the use of these terms, which may refer apparently indiscriminately either to a punitive deity or to an
enigmatic cult
image.
What it means by a putative, let's look it up just so I can read it to you all. The word putative, generally considered or reputed to be. So Merriam-Webster says putative is almost always used in the front of a noun, the modified noun being that which is assumed or supposed to be. So with that understanding, when it says either to a putative deity, meaning to an assumed and established power, or to an enigmatic cult image. So some people could worship the deity and it not have an image. It could be other things that represent the deity, like the groves, anyone? Or you can actually make, and then some, we're gonna actually see some images of her today. You can make a female with breasts and say that's her. Yahweh had no image, and the Israelites literally in the wilderness created an image and called it him, didn't they?
Yep, they did.
Okay, that's basically what it's saying. Go ahead.
A cult image rendering many texts seemingly unintelligible.
It's not that they're unintelligible. It's got, you have to understand what's going on. And apparently, whoever this was, they were telling you the problem that the way that it's being described in the Bible has confused some people, and especially in the archaeological world. But go ahead.
Nearly all later commentators, Jewish and Christian, have interpreted the text in a minimalist fashion, preferring to see in these awkward references simply the persistence of Canaanite religious practices. However, the possibility that the goddess Asherah may have been personified and actually worshipped in ancient Israel as a consort of Yahweh has generally been downplayed.
Now, that's fair, but this is the thing. It's not that the Christian and Jewish, this is the damn arrogance of later academia. You're going to tell the people who text it is what the hell they mean. You late to the game. You looking at it like, well, why are y'all just making it seem like this is what she is? Because that's what the hell she was. It's not like it's a lie, but what's happening is y'all want Yahweh so bad to be nothing but another anthropomorphized or personified power. And so y'all like, well, if Yahweh is the male deity of the Israelites, then don't he got a wife too? No, he don't. But we're going to see the Israelites gave him one. Go ahead, bro. where it says the most extreme view?
Wait a minute. The most extreme view is that recently stated by E. Lipinski, 1972. It seems that no biblical passage mentions the goddess
Atarat.
Atarat or her emblem.
It does mention her, but you got to know how. And I showed you a little bit how, but it's going to get much more plainer. Continue.
But even A. Lemire, who has reconstructed an actual reference to Yahweh and his Asherah in the Al-Qam funerary inscription. Number 3. Nevertheless, includes that the word Asherah in the biblical text seems most likely to designate a sacred tree placed in the traditional sanctuary of ancient Israel, situated beside the altar of the stele.
And the stele, the Masabit. No, the Israelites did eventually do that, to be fair. But the Bible was telling you this was all. Yo, bro, we just read in Exodus, the Lord said, when you come into the land, you shall cut down their altars and their groves, correct?
Yeah, right.
And their images. And you shall not serve me with all of that.
Right.
So understand, you have to be confident in reading the Bible and showing these individuals how I like what you're saying, but I can show you where you're falling short and what the Bible is clearly saying, because we're seeing it for ourselves. But when we put 2 and 2 together, we know how to eat the meat and throw away the bones. People do it with ribs and chicken all the time. Go ahead, brother.
It is the contention of this article that recent archaeological discoveries provide both texts and pictorial representations that for the first time clearly identify Asherah as the consort of Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
At least in some circles in ancient Israel.
Wait. So as archaeology in the 70s, around the time I was born, started finding more stuff in the land of Israel, guess what they came up on? Proof that you had Israelites who worshiped Yahweh, quote unquote, and the damn queen together and made her his wife. And I'm glad he didn't just say this is what the Israelites did. He said at least in some circles in ancient Israel, and that's facts. See, ain't nobody got no problem with that. We gonna show you where you had circles who did it, and then we gonna show you where circles popped up and was whooping on the other circle, like, get that up out of here, get that off our block. You can't sell that garbage around the, they selling garbage around the way. Go ahead and continue to read, brother.
In 1975 to 76, Ze'ev Michel excavated a 9th to 8th century BC Israelite Judean caravanserai, an attached shrine at Kuntilet Arud
in Eastern Sinai. Remember, you ain't got to read the parentheses.
In Eastern Sinai. Early reports of this sensational discovery noted that the sanctuary had yielded several dipinto, dedicatory inscriptions and inscribed votive offerings. But only cautious references were made to 2 large pithoi, on which were painted both Hebrew blessing formulae and cultic scenes. The material was seen promptly by many scholars, including this writer, and in 1978 was featured in an Israel Museum special exhibition. Exhibition. More recently, Pariah Beck published the long-awaited official edition of the drawings on both the pithoi and the wall plaster fragments. Although the edito precepts of the text has not appeared, Neve recently offered a translation of 2 of the pithoi inscriptions, of which fortunately nearly every letter is legible.
And basically they got it written down here, but all you got to do is read the English right there where it say X says.
X says, say to Y and Yahuwah, Asher, and to Z, I bless you by Yahweh, our guardian, and by his Asherah.
Oh, so say to Y and Ya'asu, Ya'asa, I bless you by Yahweh, our guardian, and by his Asherah. Yeah, cat out the bag. He busted. It's over. The Israelites served Yahweh. Yahweh had a wife, and that's it. Israelites don't know what they're talking about, and the Bible is lying. Well, no, we're about to show you something. And in doing this, Yahweh himself told you the Israelites started to refer to him by the name of Baal, and that he was going to stop them from doing that. See, the Bible is a story about what Yahweh is doing, and it's also about what the people are doing in opposition to Yahweh, against Yahweh's wishes. Yeah, you like that, didn't you, Gary? You like that.
Yeah, that was nice.
Now, let's go a little further. Let's go back into the Word of God. The Word of God. So now, the Most High told them people that's what they were going to do. He want them to go in, break down the altars, burn the Asherah trees, and to cut down any of the images and even the names of them, right? That's what he said in Deuteronomy 12 by Moses.
That's what he said.
Go to Hosea chapter 2, brother. I know we running late, y'all, so I'll have to continue this teaching because it's vast. This is part 1, Most High willing, and I'm not going to wait a whole week. Most High willing, maybe like Tuesday, I'll do the part 2 because this is important, because if I get the opportunity to do the next part, I want to do that on some whole other deities. Baal is being dealt with a little bit simply because of this, but the next one I want to deal with is the El Elyon, because there's this overblown term of Most High, and cats is like, oh, it's only one Most High and all of this. So I want to deal with that too, and the ancient Near East and that term, the Most High, that is, in my opinion, you don't gotta agree, I don't give a damn, overblown. It's an overblown epithet. It ain't nothing but a designation of the power, in my opinion, from all the research I got. And y'all see the kind of stuff that Zadok put up on the screen. But let's look at something here, brother. Hosea chapter 2. Let me share the screen. Hey, and let me reset right quick. Welcome, because I know I'm not paying too much attention to the chats and stuff, but salute to all the Clubhouse family and the YouTube and Facebook family. I appreciate y'all for hanging out late. For my West Coast brethren, it's starting to get late for y'all because I know it's past, it's about to be like 9 p.m. for y'all. But salute to my East Coast family because it's close to midnight for us, and I appreciate all of y'all giving some late night time. So with that being the case, oh yeah, that's right. Let me share the screen. I'm hoping y'all digging this. Forgive me if it's a little too nerdy for some of y'all. That's fine. I'm a nerd in many ways. Hosea 2. And when we get to the book of Hosea, chapter 2, I want to start reading around verse. Oh, here we go. Check this out. So the Most High said, I'm a whoop on you, and I'm gonna kick you out my house. And when I kick you out my house, look at what he said was gonna happen. He's talking to the 10 tribes, aka the northern kingdom. Hosea 2, verse 7.
And she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them. And she shall seek them, but shall not find them. Then shall
Meaning she gonna look for them to help her. But these deities that aren't alive ain't gonna be able to do nothing for you. You gonna suffer the way I said you gonna suffer. And when that happened, look at what he said gonna happen.
So then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband, for then was it better with me than now. For she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil, and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal.
Now Yahweh ain't claiming to be Baal. But what I'm gonna tell y'all is that the people, when they corrupted Yahweh, they served him like Baal, made images of him, and with the image comes the wifey, the young consort. But continue, brother. I'm telling you all, whenever you see Baal, Asherah is there. It ain't gotta say her name. I know for a fact she's there because she comes with the culture. The male is never without his female consort and personified culture because it's the negative and positive principles of life. It's the yin and the yang. Go ahead.
For she did not know that I gave her corn. Therefore will I return and take away my corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and will recover my wool and my flax given to cover her nakedness. And now will I discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of my hand.
So I'm gonna whoop on her, and I'm gonna start to give her famine and everything in front of the gods that she's serving. She been giving my stuff to some other dude. What's that old school song? Cheating in the next room. Man, she was in the next room cheating on the Most High, bro. And he like, yo, you giving these Negroes my stuff? You putting my stuff in front of idols? Okay, I'm going to hurt you. And ain't none of them idols going to help you. Verse 11.
I will also cause all her mirth to cease, her feast days, her new moons, and her Sabbaths, and all her solemn feasts.
Wait, hold on. Brother, is this telling us that while the people were serving Baal, you know what Baal worship looked like?
Yahweh worship.
They have feast days and new moons and Sabbaths. But some in academia miss this, and some in archaeology are missing this because not all of them are Bible studiers. And then they'll claim that when the believers who are PhDs and as accredited and as certified in the field participate in some of these digs or have their own digs and they find information, they always want to say, well, you're looking to confirm your belief. Yeah, that's right, damn it. And we're confirming it. But see, y'all all don't read the text. Y'all good in y'all field. I ain't saying y'all not good in y'all fields. But that don't mean y'all understand the message and the way to understand what the text is telling us. This just told us these people had Sabbaths, new moons, the feast days, and the solemn feasts while they offered what belonged to Yahweh to Baal. Y'all know why? Because I'm arguing that they had turned Yahweh into an image. And Yahweh said, nigga, that ain't me. That's Baalim. That's what happened, people. But guess what? Verse 12.
And I will destroy her vines and her fig trees, whereof she had said, these are my rewards that my lovers have given me. And I will make them a forest, and the beasts of the field shall eat them. And I will visit upon her the days of Balaam, wherein she burned incense to them. And she decked herself with her earrings and her jewels. And she went after her lovers and forgot me, saith the Lord.
Hold on. Hey, bro, there's a singular word in the Hebrew for God, right? And it's El,
Yeah.
or even Eloi. And then there's a plural form, which sometimes can be used in a singular plural. I like how they explain that, but it's a plural form word, Elohim, just like Shamaim and Maim, waters, not just one water, but waters, the heavens, not just one particular part. But when you look at the whole great expanse, that's one heaven, but yet it's so many parts of it. That's the heavens. It's a plural word. Do you understand that we're looking at the plural form of Baalim? In that first article we read from JSTOR, the dude established that the corrupted form of Ashtoreth and Baalim are really nothing but the personified forces of nature in the Syro-Phoenician culture. So when you see it in the Bible, you know what the Israelites are telling us? That they ain't even got to always say the female consort. When you say Baalim, look what Baalim is and pay very close attention. I will visit upon her the days of Baalim, wherein she burned incense to him or them.
Yeah.
Guess who the hell Baalim is? It's the male and female deity. The same way that Adam, in Genesis 5, it says, in the day that God created man, male, he created the male and female, he created them, and he called their name Adam. Their name is Adam. The male by himself is called Adam, but guess what their name is? Adam. The male and female deity of Canaan are in the Bible sometimes expressed together as Baalim. And that's going right over the heads of the people who think the female deity got away with something because Yahweh gonna protect his wife. That's bull. That in the words of the great Deion Sanders, that's bull junk. But check this out. The Most High talks about in the day he's going to eventually have mercy on Israel, and he's going to bring them back. And when he bring them back, look at what he say going to be a part of him getting his relationship back with the people. Verse 16.
And it shall be at that day, saith the Lord, that thou shalt call me Ishai, and shall call me no more Belai.
What? Gary, I'm gonna need you to read that again, kind sir. Read that a little slower, because I don't think the people in the back heard you.
And it shall be at that day, saith Yahweh, that thou shalt call me Ishai, and shall call me no more Belai.
Continue.
And I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name.
Damn it! I'm going to take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, because y'all even using that to refer to me. But then when they make an image, modern man in his archaeological digs is acting like the Israelites, like we just read in the last one. He said, it's clear. We done found proof. Nigga, we got the inscription. Yo, we blessing you in the name of our guardian Yahweh and his wife. He said, but it's clear that that Asherah was the accompanying wife of Yahweh in some circles in Israel. I'm going to take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. Baalim is a they? Yes. It's the feminine and masculine principle, because Elohim, if it was feminine and masculine, would just be described purely as Elohim, whatever deities and powers in the heaven. Even the angels at times when they were seen and they did stuff that people clearly called them Elohim, right? Yeah. They weren't saying that exactly was the Most High, but that's definitely from the damn power. So that's Elohim. Jacob said, I done seen Elohim face to face and my life is preserved. People like, yo, we done seen God, we gonna die. No, you did see Elohim, but you didn't see the Most High. You didn't see El Elyon. You saw other powers from the Elohim. Baalim is the plural form of the idol gods of the other nations. And Yahweh said, I'm going to make sure y'all stop calling me Baali. Yeah, I don't want y'all calling me that. When I bring you to me, damn it, you're going to call me Ishi. You're going to call me husband. Stop calling me master, because that's really y'all using the name. Yo, didn't he say, don't call me by the names of other gods? He told them that coming out of Egypt. That's if you can't read this in the Bible and then try to dismiss the other part like we ain't know it was there.
So what's Ishi?
That's husband. You ever hear some Hebrew women, they'll say my ish.
Yeah, no, I've never heard that.
Yeah, ish. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are words of husband and wife. He like, yeah, we're gonna be in that relationship. I don't even want y'all using the names of Baali toward me. Y'all ain't gonna call me that no more. I'm taking that out y'all mouth, and those powers y'all are worshiping won't even be remembered by those names anymore. I'm kicking them things off the planet. How about that? Is this what these archaeologists and people are reading? Because if they read it and understood, then they would know. No, I will be fair. Maybe there are Jewish and Christian theologians who are taking a minimalist approach with Asherah. But I'm telling you that when Baalim is attacked by Yahweh, he's also attacking Asherah. So I'm telling you, Asherah, the true Yahweh, has no female consort. Let's go to the book of Judges, chapter 3, good brother. Let's go to Judges, chapter 3. Mm-hmm. And after Joshua generation passed away and all the elders of that time, here go the Israelites as they start to get with the people of the land. Chapter 3, verse 1.
Now these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan. Only that the generations of the children of Israel might know, to teach them war. At the least, such as before knew nothing thereof. Namely, 5 lords of the Philistines, and all the Canaanites, and the Sidonians, and the Hivites that dwelt in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal Hermon unto the entering of Hamath. And they were to prove Israel by them, to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of the Lord, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses. And the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites.
Hold on. Stop the screen share. Just for the record, bro read this earlier. We're going to take you to the easiest one you could find. We're going to go to Britannica, and this was the very first one we read, brother. I'm going to share it one more time in case some people came in late and don't know that we already established something here. Let me go to the screen share. Astarte, Encyclopedia Britannica, ancient deity. Astarte, also spelled Athart and Ashtart, great goddess of the ancient Middle East and chief deity. Wait, a female was the chief deity? Yes, she is. She was the leader of the Baalim of the ancient Middle East for many people. Tyre, Sidon. You just read the Sidonians in there, didn't you?
Yeah.
And Elat, important Mediterranean seaports. Okay, check this out. Astarte was worshipped in Egypt. That's where the Israelites came from. And in Ugarit, that's where they were going. Among the Hittites, did we just read the Hittites there in the book of Judges? That's just what you had just read their name? You had just read their name, right?
Yep, we did.
As well as in Canaan. You read the Canaanites too, didn't you? You had said Canaanites in there? You
Yep.
read Canaanites in there? Oh, so guess what? As the Israelites, as the generations start to get their little foothold, they didn't take over the entire land and kick everybody out. So when you have, and that's another, that's for another time, but this is side note smoke. When you have these individuals who say we don't find any proof of this great invasion of the land and Joshua and them came in and just took over everything, I just sit and I shake my head. Y'all so desperate to prove the text wrong that y'all don't even realize the scripture is telling us they didn't take over every damn thing. They just elbowed out a nice little circle for themselves.
Yeah.
The Bible never claimed Joshua and them took everything. As a matter of fact, before Joshua died, it tells you the little bit of territory he was able to get, which was more around the southern Judah area, but they didn't take everything from the Jebusites. The Jebusites at that time still had what later became what David and them took and made the capital Jerusalem. It still took centuries for them to even get a foothold there. How are people missing this? You know why they missing it? Because they don't believe. They're just looking to prove the Bible wrong. They don't believe this book for real. Because if they did, they would see they sound so dumb as if they're saying what the Bible isn't saying. They don't believe this book. It's even some people who claim to believe this book who aren't well read in it. And I adjure them. Don't become so academic that Yahweh start to just become another God to you. Just another deity. He's telling you that's how the people treated him. And he said, yeah, I'm going to take, y'all ain't calling me Baali no more. I'm going to take all the names of Baalim out your mouth. So I just wanted to bring that up. But let's go back and let me reshare the screen, bring the Bible back up. Okay, so now it says, and the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. It lets you know up here in verse 3 that those who were chiefly left in the land got, wait, hold on. These nations are the ones that Yahweh left to test Israel by them. The Philistines who worship Asherah, the Canaanites who worship Asherah, the Sidonians who worship Asherah, the Hittites who worship Asherah, all of these Baalim worshiping nations. And look at what happened. Verse 6, good brother.
And they took their daughters to be their wives and gave their daughters to be their sons and served their gods. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord and forgot the Lord their God and served Baalim and the groves.
Hold on. They served Baalim and the groves, and just for sugar, honey, iced tea, and giggles,
Asherah.
what are the groves? Asherah. And what is Asherah to the Israelites? The Phoenician goddess, also the image of same goddess grove. Here in the Brown Drivers Briggs, Asherah, proper name, feminine, Assyrian proper name, Asratu, with the sign for deity in Canaanitish proper name, Abad Ashratun, CL Amana, or derivatives compare Assyrian Asarat, adjective, feminine, gracious, all doubtful as to Canaanite goddess Asherah. Semitic goddess Asertu Asrutu. Wow. The people served Baalim and Asherah. And whenever the goddess didn't have an image, she was there in principle by the Asherah poles or the trees that they gave her name. Y'all know how you'll go into your downtown squares and they might have them idols of great important generals or governors, and they got the trees that surround the statues. You go into Canaan, they got the Baal altar, that's the male deity, and the altar would have sometimes a pole right next to it with the inscription of the goddess on it. Bro, did we just read in our Bibles that the children of Israel never came in and conquered everybody? They did conquer some, but not this big. We just took over everything with Joshua. The Bible don't teach that. So why are archaeologists looking for proof of that? Somebody got some explaining to do. But at any rate, check this out. Once they got in good with all of these people, they did evil in the sight of Yahweh, and they forgot about Yahweh and served Baalim and groves. But this is the thing. Just like Aaron called that golden calf Yahweh, when it says it forgot Yahweh, it's just saying they didn't keep the covenant. They didn't forget Yahweh, the name, because Yahweh just told us in Hosea that when they were serving Baalim, they were still practicing Sabbaths and new moons. Didn't we just read that in Hosea chapter?
Yeah.
How are they missing this? How about what time is it? In 10 minutes, I can get out one more source for tonight. I'm gonna go one more extra biblical and one more Bible text, and then most high willing in a couple nights. I hope y'all all come back. I plan to do the part 2 of this presentation on the Queen of Heaven in Israel live, because it just get gooderer and gooderer. So check this out. You know where I want to take you? Let's get into more sources, because people respect it when you go and deal with the stuff that they think is the stuff. So how about this abstract that comes out of a write-up from 2005? How about I share that one with you? Let's share the screen one more again. Some people don't like this, and that's unfortunate. Why y'all don't like the Bible people teaching this? Because we're going to not dismiss the Bible in order to go against the Bible. For some who I say, while they're doing a certain work, they don't know how. They're trying to shoot down the Christian archaeologists and them who could tell them this stuff. So, but I get to tell my community this. Hey, brother, you see what that say? Where's this from? A publication from where, brother?
Publication from the Archaeological Institute of America.
The Archaeological Institute of America. Maybe some people respect that. Go ahead, bro. The Lost Goddess of Israel.
Goddess of Israel.
Yeah, by Sandra Schkamm. Continue, good brother. We're not gonna read the Second Kings one. I actually might we'll go to the text. They quote in the text at the top. We'll go to the text directly and read more than just the quote. Go ahead, brother.
Start at Asherah.
Yes, sir.
Asherah is arguably the most important goddess in the Canaanite pantheon, the prototypical mother of gods and humans, and consort of the chief god, El. She is also the mistress of the sea and the land.
Hold on. This is why she was so big among the Syro-Phoenician people, because Tyre and Sidon were the port cities on the Mediterranean coast. Go and read, y'all, what the Most High say about Tyre, how rich these places was. And the Lord said, these nations said, we sit as a queen in the midst of the sea, and no trouble will come to us. Y'all, it's already in the text. But go ahead, brother, continue. We have long known.
So we have long known Asherah from the immense library of 13th century cuneiform tablets found in Syria at the site of Ugarit. But there are also more than 40 references to Asherah in the Old Testament. What could she have meant to the people of monotheistic ancient Israel? A bit too much, apparently, at least according to the authors of the biblical text who attack her relentlessly. They praise Asa, king of Judah, for removing his mother Ma'ak from official duties after she had an abominable image made for Asherah.
Hold on. The king had to put his mother out the government because she had created an image to Asherah. Why would that be a problem if that's Yahweh's wife? Why should Asa, the king of Judah, have a damn problem with his mama giving props to the wife? Don't women always like girl power? Oh man, that's just Yahweh's wife. Continue.
They condemn the long reigning
Manasseh.
Oh, they condemn the long reigning Manasseh of Judah for doing what was evil in the sight of the Lord in making an Asherah. And they trumpet the achievements of Josiah, including the destruction of offerings made to Asherah at the temple in Jerusalem, the abolition of the Asherah from the house of the Lord.
Hold on. So there was an Asherah at one time in the temple? Yes, they set it up because they started to put her with Yahweh worship. And when Josiah took over the government of Judah, he shut all of that down because according to the true Yahweh, that wasn't supposed to be. The Bible is painting a picture of this back and forth fight. And those who hate the Bible miss it because they don't have the truth in them, not the truth of God. Continue.
Including the destruction of offerings made to Asherah in the temple of Jerusalem, the abolition of the Asherah from the house of the Lord, and demolition of a shrine there in which women did weaving for Asherah. These passages reflect both the worship of Asherah and efforts to stamp out her cult during in the Iron Age. But it was only in the succeeding Persian period, after the fall of Judah in 586 BC and the exile in Babylon, the Asherah virtually disappeared.
Now these Negroes. Now I heard one dude say it wasn't until Josiah. No, it was before Josiah, homie. Josiah was not the first king in Israel to fight against the Asherah. Josiah did have the biggest reform. But if Josiah is a 7th century king of Judah, damn it, a late 10th century, early 9th century king of Judah, Asa, put his mama out the government because she was trying to bring Asherah worship to the people. Then you have Manasseh, who is before Josiah, who was doing this, and they called him a great wicked king among the people. And then you have, after the Babylonian captivity, when Nehemiah and them came back, they fought like hell to make sure that the people did not fall to Baalim worshiping the male and female consort of heaven anymore. That's now this article is being true. It is at that time that it virtually disappears. It didn't go away all the way, though, but it was some great efforts done. Go ahead.
Ultimately, the campaign to eliminate the goddess has failed. Asherah was buried long ago by the establishment, declares respected biblical scholar William H. Denver. Now archaeology has excavated her. Denver is quite certain that he knows who the Asherah of ancient Israel and the biblical text is. She is the wife or consort of Yahweh, the one God of Israel. Many of his colleagues would agree.
Now, technically, he's right, but he don't know this book, do we? Look, Asherah was buried long ago by the establishment, declares respected biblical scholar William H. Deaver. See, y'all, biblical scholar doesn't mean notice this, biblical scholar doesn't mean you have to believe it. It just means that your field of research and study is in the Bible. But y'all do know that a lot of biblical scholars of Old and New Testament, y'all do know many of them in these universities are not Christians. They're not believers. Some of them used to be believers, and then they become no longer believers, but they still teach some of the history of it. None of this means anything. Now, notice this. He said it failed. No, it didn't. Archaeology has excavated it because y'all found some statues and y'all found some writings. That mean it failed? Nigga, don't nobody in Israel worship Asherah anymore. Don't no Hebrew Israelites worship Asherah anymore. Nor Baalim. The only place you find it in any meaningful way is some of its symbolism in Roman Catholic culture. And some Catholics don't know that. Who is Sandra Sham, by the way? Editor of Near Eastern Archaeology and a contributing editor to Archaeology. Teaches biblical archaeology at the Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C. What you think about that, Gary?
Yeah, that was some nice information.
So, you know what eventually split the kingdom after the third royal ruler? The first one was Saul from the tribe of Benjamin. Then the second one was David from the tribe of Judah. The third one was his son Solomon. Let's go to our last text for the night, 1 Kings 11. And we'll end here because then we're going to get that back and forth war to get rid of Baalim and his wife, which also by many were being called Yahweh and Asherah. We're going to read the back. We're going to let the Bible explain the fight to us.
You said 1 Kings 10?
1 Kings 11.
Oh, 11.
Yep. 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 1.
But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Amorites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go in to them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. And his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord, his God, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Amorites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammonon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. And the Lord was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from the Lord God of Israel.
So hold on, when Solomon worshipped Ashtoreth, the consort of Yahweh, Yahweh was mad. Why? Why would you be mad, Yahweh? That's just your wife. I'm just giving the queen props. That's the queen. We know what's happening here. But continue, good brother.
Which had appeared unto him. Wait a minute. And the Lord was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from the Lord God of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. But he kept not that which the Lord commanded. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. Notwithstanding, in thy days, I will not do it for David, thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. Howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen.
The Lord said, I'm going to let you keep one tribe so that my promise to David will remain, and Jerusalem, which I chose. But I'm going to give the rest of the nation to your servant, and that servant name is Jeroboam, a man of war who served Solomon. And why did the Most High do this? Well, it seemed like Yahweh jealous of his own wife. Why you jealous, Yahweh? Why? Because the one, like, see, Yahweh a woman hater, bro. Let some people tell it the way that their minds work. Brethren, I know that for some of y'all gonna want to go back and listen to this again. And for those of you who can watch it, hey, for those of you on Clubhouse, I would adjure you to go and subscribe to my channel, The Bible Dojo, on YouTube, and you can actually look at the sources we were reading from. And if you could see the websites and stuff like that, you could go and find these sources. If you want to pay $50 for some of these PDFs and stuff, then go do it. If I spend money on a PDF, I ain't giving it to everybody for free. I might give it to a select person or two, but I ain't spending $50, and then you could go spend 50 for it like I did. So I'm gonna end right there for the night because I think I've built up a great case. I believe I'm proving archaeology is doing nothing but establishing that the Bible was historically accurate before they found anything. And as they're finding things, and those who are truly with Satan in their heart, and they may not even perceive it. Peter didn't perceive that he had Satan in his conscience when he told Jesus he wasn't going to let nobody do nothing to him. And Jesus said, "Get thou behind me, Satan." It didn't mean that Peter had his fangs hanging out or had good intent. And I'm not going to say all these archaeologists and scholars are necessarily in their mind trying to be. I believe some are, because some are atheists. But some of them just are trying to be honest to how they're looking at stuff. But it's going to take the believers in God, who he has chosen, who are educated enough to take the data with our biblical data and put it together and see, oh, no, this is a harmonious story. And it already existed in the text. So just bow to the text. But for some people, that's going to be difficult, I know. So with that, good brother, we're going to go ahead and end right there for the night, because we've been on for about almost 3 hours now. Well, how long it say? Just about to hit the 3-hour mark. So anything you want to say, Gary, before we get up out of here?
Yeah, no, that this was a dope presentation, man. Because I knew about the Queen of Heaven and all that, but I didn't know about the consort. Yeah, I didn't know about that. So this was very interesting. It sent me into a rabbit hole.
Hey, well,
Well,
all praises to the Most High, bro. I mean, we
praise
can learn. I'm still learning. I'm still searching and looking for more information to throw on top of information. Because one thing about research, to be fair, I can read something from 1995. I can read something from 2005. And if there's something that they just found or even updated their opinion in 2021, it's fair if I find that source to put that on the table. I'm not trying to be disingenuous about anything, but I'm gonna defend this word of God.
Amen.
That's it. I don't give a damn what people believe. This is all I believe in. If this ain't true, then I don't believe in nothing else. Y'all understand that? And so far, so good.
Blacktastic.
That's just it. Yo, Eddie Kane Jr. ain't man. You can't take him seriously. But hey, man, hey Gary, I appreciate you, bro. Thanks for giving your time this evening. Blessings to you and the family. And I'm gonna go a little bit off script. Usually we only do the Sunday night, but I wanted to do this series. I don't want to leave a gap of a week in between just the Asherah. Some of these joints will only have one part, but it's two parts for this Asherah because it's more script, and I got a few more sources I want to share from archaeology. I want to show y'all what Asherah look like.
If you do it Tuesday or Wednesday, man, I'll follow up with you.
Okay, then Most High willing, Gary, I'm gonna go for Tuesday evening.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
So, hey, family, let cats know how we get down in the Bible dojo, man. This is a place where you can learn a little bit. You can learn a little bit. So, hey, man, I appreciate you, bro. You have a good evening, Brody.
Yeah, you too, man. Thank you. God bless.
God bless, bro. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, hey, brothers and sisters, I appreciate y'all for hanging out with us on the late here. Salute to the Clubhouse family, the YouTube and the Facebook family. Once again, just remember that your support is pivotal to growing this platform. I have reached 200 subscribers. I haven't had a new YouTube page in many moons. You know what I'm saying? I got almost 5,000 folk at least on my other page, and this one is new because I'm dedicating this one specifically for the Bible Dojo. So let people know if you're not a subscriber and you're on YouTube or Facebook watching, become a subscriber. Clubhouse family, I know a lot of y'all on Clubhouse got YouTubes too. Go on and subscribe to the God. All right. So, hey, man, until next time, hopefully, which will be this Tuesday evening at 9 p.m. Until then, shalom to y'all. All right now.